And Happy New Year from South Florida, the Orange Bowl in Miami, home of the 59th Federal Express Orange Bowl, and the Nebraska Cornhuskers kicking it off to start the game. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy and John Dockery as the great freshman kick returner Tamarick Vanover has to down the ball on a very deep kickoff by Byron Bennett. So Coach Tom Osborne and his Nebraska Cornhuskers coming in as a substantial underdog to the ACC champions, led by the great junior quarterback Charlie Ward. Sean Jackson's his runner. William Floyd will get the ball, some primarily a blocker. Vanover's a sensation at wide receiver. And the offensive line is very fast. Not as big as Nebraska's, but these guys can all run. Florida State, a program built on speed. They go to the fast break offense to start the game. The shotgun offense. This is Charlie Ward. Dropping to throw on first down. Looking deep at Vanover. And then he throws over the middle. The ball was intended to Kez McCorvey, number 88, as Nebraska Trump got the big rush on.
The Nebraska Cornhuskers started down with 6 defensive backs, a 5-man front, and a dime package behind it.
And an update, the IBM OS2 Fiesta Bowl. Syracuse prevails over 6th-ranked Colorado, 26-22. After the missed first down throw, Ward sets himself at the 15-yard line. 2nd down and 10. Quick out pattern, and Charlie Ward off target on his second throw. This time he was going to Kevin Knox. As we look at the Huskers on defense, they're big and tough. John Perella, NFL scouts think he'll be a standout there. David Noonan, the nose tackle. Moore, a pass rusher. Travis Hill is a first-team All-American, a terrific outside backer. Trev Alberts, Mike Anderson, and Ed Stewart. Very good players. And the linebacker core of Nebraska in the secondary. And not used to a lot of pass offense. They see the run mostly in the Big 8, and now here comes a 3rd consecutive pass. Or does it? Charlie Ward is on the run. Can they get to him? They cannot. Charlie Ward breaks it. He's across the 45-yard line and slides to a halt all the way out at the 49. So on 3rd and 10, the ever-dangerous Charlie Ward breaks the big one, Trump. 26 yards.
From behind the offense, you see the 2-back set. First 2 downs, they go with a shotgun. On 3rd and long, they bring in the 2 backs. But this is the secret weapon. We've got a flag on the play.
Ooh.
It's coming it back against Florida State. But Charlie Ward, the kid they call the choir boy, is the 3rd running back in that Florida State backfield.
Flag back at the 20-yard line.
Illegal formation on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
Bill Gross, our referee. This is the Southeastern Conference officiating team. So the big run by Charlie Ward now is negated on the penalty call. And again, 3rd down arises. This time they need 15. Tom Osborne wanted a lot of blitzing on Charlie Ward, but it has to be a contained blitz. If you come all out recklessly, he'll just sidestep and break the big play as he just did, the one that was called back. Ward with a deep drop, looking to screen the ball out. He does. Nebraska is there, though, to shut it down at the 25-yard line. Sean Jackson got the ball, got ahead for a 10-yard gain on the screen pass play. And Terry Keneally, a nose tackle, was on the stop for the Huskers. So Florida State stalls on its opening drive, and Coach Bowden sends out his kicking team.
But that's a good sample of the Florida State offense. This is a very difficult offense if you're standing across the line of scrimmage from it. Really figure out exactly what they're going to do. Passing situations they run. They like the screen, and, of course, the fast break shotgun.
Not a great punting game for Florida State, as you see. Nebraska is one of the best in the country. Wimberly's kick is going to take a hop at tear him out of bounds at about the 48-yard line. So Nebraska's first offensive set will come with good field position. Just a 27-yard punt. And here comes the Nebraska offense. Tommy Frazier, a true freshman quarterback, very consistent, very smart, mistake-free young player. 100 passes, only 1 intercepted. 10 have been for touchdowns. Their running game averages almost 6 yards a carry for the 3rd time. In the last 4 years, Nebraska is the #1 rushing team in America, but they opened Trump with a spread formation.
Now, this is something we expected them to do, to try to loosen up the defense of Florida State.
3 wide receivers set to the near side. A quick out. Frazier connects with his man. Running high to the ball is Corey Dixon, and he breaks it inside the 35-yard line. Big block by Calvin Jones, the running back, a 19-yard play on first down.
Even though it's a pass, Don, this is a screen. Great sell job by Tommy Frazier. Excellent blocks out in front. Dixon gets up underneath the first one. 19 easy yards on the opening play of the game for the Cornhuskers.
So after the 27-yard punt, Nebraska comes out, gets the quick out, and Corey Dixon takes it ahead, and now Nebraska goes 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line of Florida State. Pitch back, well done by the quarterback Frazier, and by the running back. Taking the ball ahead was Calvin Jones. Big Dan Footman was the lead tackler, and then All-American Marvin Jones hit him.
One of the things that Tom Osborne was concerned about was good footing here in the Orange Bowl field. Been raining for the last couple of 3 days, and with the option, you need to be able to turn up as you watch Marvin Jones, shade tree, overrun Calvin Jones. Jones with a nice pickup.
The last time these two teams met was in the 1990 Fiesta Bowl. Florida State unhandily 41-17. Frazier, that was a call play, quarterback keep. And right there to get him was Sterling Palmer, a huge backer.
Don, to consider how far this Frazier kid has come. 365 days ago, he was introduced as one of the 24 best Florida high school football players at the Citrus Bowl at halftime. Now 365 days later, he starts for Nebraska in the Orange Bowl.
And he's back in his home state. Tommy Frazier's from Bradenton, Florida, went on a recruiting visit to Nebraska. Now we see what the Huskers will go to. 3rd down and 6, ball on the 29-yard line. Frazier with a quick rollout, eludes the rush. Takes it ahead and dives very close but short of a first down. He's inside the 25-yard line, taken down by linebacker Ken Alexander, number 36.
Nice rollout here, but Florida State did a good job on defense. This was going to be a shovel pass. Watch the running back turn around, Calvin Jones. 44 was going to get it, but Frazier, who everybody you talk to at Florida State says this kid does not play like a freshman, keeps the ball, goes on the roll line for positive yardage. They're going for it on 4th down, Don.
Indeed they are. Need 1 yard. All position inside the 25-yard line of FSU. No score. This is Nebraska's first possession after stopping Florida State. Frazier turns it up, turns it ahead. He didn't get there. Marvin Jones. A great play by a player that many pro scouts say is the best defensive player in America, linebacker Marvin Jones.
Here's Jones. It's the reverse by the quarterback into the boundary. They run the option, and Jones with that cat-like quickness. Look at that read. Directly at the quarterback. Absolutely remarkable. You can't teach that to a kid. No quarterback, no coach in the world would admit to teaching that to Marvin Jones. That's just the way he plays.
The Federal Express Orange Bowl is brought to you by Federal Express. For documents, packages, and freight worldwide, our most important package is yours. By Alamo. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, and with Alamo, all those miles are free. By Nicoderm, nicotine transdermal system. Ask your doctor about Nicoderm. And by the new Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation.
This is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy back at the 1993 Federal Express Orange Bowl. And on the sidelines covering the game for us is John Dockery. Doc?
You know, Don, you were speculating about weather conditions, near perfect weather conditions here tonight. A slight breeze at Nebraska's back. Had they tried that 41-yard field goal, they would have gotten a little bit of help, but not that much. Conditions near perfect. Back to you.
And obviously the question is, why didn't Tom Osborne try for 3 points there?
Yeah, I know he wants to go ahead. We both know that. He wanted to get that first score. Now they go to the run to the Seminoles, and Tiger McMillan, a small, quick running back, takes it ahead. David White tackled him.
Excuse me, Don. This offense that Florida State runs is a combination of a lot of different football teams. The hurry up from Sam White's at Tampa, the shallow crosses from Sam Retigliano at Liberty Baptist.
Right.
And Charlie Ward is in charge of it all. It's hand signals to the offensive linemen and to the receivers.
Second down play call coming up now for Ward. Seminoles need 6. Again, he gets time. Throws the out pattern in a fine defensive play. The ball was thrown to Shannon Baker. And Tyrone Hughes, who plays both ways. Tyrone Hughes, a great kick returner, Coach Osborne says there's not anything he can't do for us out there. That time he made the stop after a 2-yard gain.
Well, they're certainly paying this kid a lot of respect, Nebraska. 6 defensive backs stay in the game. They got a 5-man front and 6 defensive backs. Actually, it's a 4-man front with 1 linebacker. 96 White is kind of a spy against him.
Charlie Ward has thrown the ball 4 times. Has completed 2, and here's a fine play. Good for a first down as Tamarick Vanover goes up for the ball. That was the 5th throw of the game by 17 Charlie Ward, his 3rd completion, the first for any real yardage.
Vanover was very lazy out of that break, Don. This was very close to an interception. You can see excellent coverage there by Kenny Wilhite. Of course, we got to qualify what we say about Vanover. This kid he's a pup. He's a true freshman. They're just learning what this kid can do in football.
He's at the top of your screen. They're going to go deep to him again anytime. They really want to get the ball to Vanover deep. And here on the runner, Ward, as he fires it out, taking it down is Tiger McMillan. But David White again comes across the field, a linebacker with great lateral speed, and he runs the play down.
Don, as you look at this defense that Nebraska is running, they respect the 6 defensive backs. And here's another aspect of it. From behind the offense, I was going to try to show you the spy there, but look at the quickness. Just tremendous quickness. Of course, this kid's a point guard for Florida State's basketball team. Pat Kennedy loves him.
Coach Osborne said, we know about his basketball, and we wish he was playing it. He will be after this game. Here's a blitz, and somehow Tyrone Hughes can't take him down, but he's quickly finished off as Charlie Ward as more blitzers are coming, and there's a penalty marker down at the line of scrimmage. And Neely was also on a play, Trump.
Don, here's the call. Offsides defense. This Nebraska defense known as a very, very aggressive defense. Here's the man who comes up with the blitz on Charlie Ward. They're really pumping a lot of people out of the defensive backfield right into Charlie Ward's face. Tyrone Hughes does, in fact, make the sack, but it doesn't count because of the penalty.
And the penalty gives Florida State a first down. There's no score. 8 minutes and 58 seconds to play in the first quarter of this 1993 Federal Express Orange Bowl, a place of heartbreak for Coach Tom Osborne. January 1, 1984, you may recall his 1-point loss when his team was #1 in America. They went for 2, didn't make it. Miami won the game in his first national championship, 31-30. Here is, look at Charlie Ward weaving his way through tacklers, and again David White is able to contain him. Tackled by 96, David White.
Now we'll come back and now show you the aspect of this defense. Here's David White right here. His sole responsibility. Watch where Charlie Ward goes, and wherever he goes, go with him. He does, in fact, make the tackle here. You see him blitzing. He's watching for Charlie Ward. And there he gets a hold of a leg.
And we come back to live action on 2nd down and 10. Ward fires to the outside. McCorvey takes the ball, and he's taken down with a face mask tackle by Toby Wright. And that will tack on yardage as the Florida State drive will continue with penalty yardage.
Little out pattern. McCorvey gets away, and there's the face mask on. Actually, I don't know that he grabs the face mask, but his head bounced back so quickly that the official on the sideline.
Grabbing the face mask by the defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
He got the bar on the top of the helmet. Certainly not intentional by Wright.
Early in this game, Nebraska, after a short punt by Florida State on the opening possession, moved the ball all the way down inside the 25-yard line of FSU. The Huskers went for a first down on 4th and 1. They didn't get there. The great Marvin Jones made the stop. Now, Florida State, with its super-powered offense, is starting to move. Ward lofting a long ball. Nobody near it. The closest man to it was Tyrone Hughes. Putting the heat on was inside linebacker Ed Stewart.
Kes McCorvey was the intended receiver. He slipped. A lot of things Charlie Ward does back here. You see the hand signals to the receivers. It's signaled into him from the sideline. He passes it along to the offense. And in the last 9 quarters, you see how remarkable this kid has performed.
A lot of turnovers early. He threw 15 interceptions in the first 7 games and has settled in. The fast break offense is just what he likes. Downfield throw. He's got an open man But unable to bring the ball in is Kez McCorvey. Tyrone Hughes was beaten on the play. Another marker down.
It's against Nebraska again, Don.
Roughing the passer, it appeared to be Trump. That'll be another first down for the Seminoles. Here's Bill Gross.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They're calling it on Ed Stewart. The rollout by Florida State. Ward has so much physical capability. It's just, yeah, I think that's a very good call. No
very
question.
late hit.
Stewart had like 2 steps before he hit into Charlie Ward.
So again, aided by a mark-off against the Cornhuskers, Florida State has now advanced the ball down close to the 25-yard line of Nebraska.
Now Florida State going with a tight end with 2 running backs. This is one of the most multiple offenses you'll find in college football, Don.
It all builds around this man, number 17, is Ward. Throws hard. He's got it down low, and Tamarick Vanover's in for the first score.
Don, it's awful simple. It's a straight drop back by Ward. Vanover just runs the deep in. Ward throws it perfectly. This young man is just a freshman in college.
Dan Mowry booms the extra point up and through. And Tamarick Vanover, the freshman sensation, gives the Seminoles on the reception a 7-0 lead.
First quarter, Florida State 7.
Freshman Tamarick Vanover in the end zone with the first score of the night. A 25-yard touchdown pass played. Charlie Ward delivered the ball right on the numbers. And now Coach Bowden's favorite Seminoles hold a 7-0 lead as they're ready to kick the ball off. Tyrone Hughes and Corey Dixon are back deep. The ball is going to Hughes. This is the fastest Cornhusker with the ball. And Hughes takes it ahead close to the 22-yard line. And here comes Tommy Frazier to try to get the Huskers going.
And Don, back to the touchdown. Here is the receiver who catches it, but we got double blitz, and the 2 safeties here are covering these running backs. What it does is isolate Vanover on the corner at the top of the screen. It's a mismatch, and Charlie Ward, no play action fake, puts it right on the money, as you said, down. Easy score, 25 yards for Florida State.
And that's a punch to the psyche of this Nebraska team. Here's a fumble. Alvin Jones falls on his own ball back at the 11. That was the first quarter touchdown that Nebraska's allowed this season. Dan Footman was the guy putting the rush on.
I think this is on Frazier. Look how high he throws that ball. The idea is you pitch that ball back to the stomach of the receiver. And there's only a couple, 3 yards between the quarterback and Calvin Jones. You've got to put it in the stomach. That one's on the freshman, Tommy Frazier.
Now second down comes up, and Frazier goes to the run, and Calvin Jones, very quick with good leg power, breaks tackles, gets ahead to the 18-yard line. Now we have a moment. Let's go to Jim Lampley in New York. Jim?
All right, Don, it's over in Pasadena as Michigan holds off Washington 38-31. This 88-yard touchdown run by Tyrone Wheatley, the second of his 3 TDs on the day. All in all, 15 carries, 235 yards for Wheatley. And 30 years after Southern Cal 42 and Wisconsin 37, the Rose Bowl has its most entertaining game in 3 decades. Don?
A lot of points. And we have points early here as Florida State has gone in front 7-0. Now Nebraska's Frazier. Looking to throw on third down, needs 13. Not close. Tommy Frazier trying to go pump a fastball in between some defenders to Trumaine Bell, but he wasn't close to a connection, and now Trump. Good field position could await the Seminoles.
Donna, I think I just saw Nebraska in the shotgun. That may be heresy in the Big 8. What are they doing in the shotgun? Has this game changed?
The problem with the Nebraska style of play, when they get behind and have to go to a pass game, over the years they've not had one. Usually, over the years, they've started with the lead, build on it, and it's got bigger. Here's a long kick downfield to Corey Sawyer. Sawyer looks for a gap and dives out to the 33-yard line. 58-yard punt, an 8-yard return. So a critical defensive play now coming up for Nebraska. They got to stop him. Florida State looking to move the ball again. The last time they had it, they went 75 yards on 8 plays. Charlie Ward to Tamarick Vanover on a 25-yard throw for the game's only score. 7-0 Seminoles as Ward takes a deep drop and now tries to screen the ball out. A little low for Sean Jackson. And a penalty marker down again. He's had one of those about every other play.
Yeah, well, this is against the offense. They had a man downfield. That was a screen setup. If he catches the ball, he's still running.
There's no penalty. There's no penalty.
Disregard the flag.
We'll accept that.
Okay, thank you very much. They tried to run a screen, and I'm telling you, if the catch can be made, he could probably run down to Coral Gables from here.
Travis Hill put a big rush on for Coach Osborne's Huskers. Certain times this year, they've played as well as any team in America. Out in Colorado, last at Kansas, and the upset loss at Iowa State set them back. And here's a handoff. Running hard is Sean Jackson. And he's ahead for a first down for Florida State.
The ball carrier.
Tyrone Hughes finally got him, but he did it 14 yards downfield.
Now, Don, let me make you the defensive coordinator of Nebraska. You've seen the Florida State Seminoles in 2 backs with a tight end and 2 wide receivers, 4 wide receivers, and now they've got 2 backs and 3 wide receivers with a tight end. I mean, there's just no way to tell your defense what to do against all this offense. You got to lock them into a defensive 2, a coverage of 2. Here it is. Look at it. 3 wide receivers and 2 running backs.
Ward steps in. Downfield throw is picked off. Tyrone Bird running with the ball for Nebraska. The game's first turnover. And Tyrone Bird, the Huskers' free safety, looking like the running back standout he was in high school, and he takes it back. And Nebraska takes over on this first turnover, and they were #1 in America in turnover ratio. And that's what Coach Osborne thought had to be the key if they were to upset Florida State. They had to win the turnover count.
I guess this is true of all quarterbacks. You got to get burned a few times before you learn you can't throw it late down the middle. It is an adage that has never changed since they started throwing this football. Charlie Ward breaks that rule and he gets it picked off.
But now Trump, Nebraska has to do something with the ball. Here's a pitch back. Running with it is Calvin Jones. And the Seminoles, who have such tremendous speed throughout their roster, that even on their defensive line, these guys run. They get a tremendous push, tremendous impetus coming out of that front 7.
Well, so far, this offense is not looking good for Nebraska. Jones and Derek Brown, both 1,000-yard rushers. This team has averaged 328 yards a game coming into this game. They're getting little or nothing running against Florida State.
And again, a team that doesn't like to pass is going to be forced into it. 2nd down and 15. A pitch back to Calvin Jones. He turns it up, turns it ahead, and gets down to the 40-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and almost 5. Will Shields, the Outland Trophy winner, the tremendous guard, 310 pounds, was the lead blocker. Eric Smith made the stop.
Shields kid's interesting. You'll see him at right guard. He's right here. He comes out, tries to get Marvin Jones. As again, this is the option, the spin option. Can't quite get a lick on Marvin Jones. It's something he's looking forward to. Hey, Marvin, you bring your best, I'll bring my best. Let's see what happens.
Marvin averages 7.2 yards a carry. Not tonight. 5 carries, a total of 7 yards for Calvin Jones. Corey Dixon was the intended receiver. He is their speed receiver, and Corey Sawyer made the stop for Florida State. Nebraska comes in, probably with a 5.8 per carry average, but so far their running game has been pretty much shut down and has been again in this series.
Yeah, and trailing 7-0, the downside is they average just over 100 yards passing a game, and all of their passing is tied to the option stuff. You saw Frazier kind of roll out. They've got to threaten the option on every play.
That's Corey Sawyer back to return the punt. They think he could be in the Deion Sanders, Terrell Buckley category as both a cornerback and a punt returner. Mike Stiggy one of the nation's best. He has a net punting average of almost 42 yards. That one was for just 31, though. And Florida State takes over the ball again with 3 minutes and 59 seconds to play in the first quarter. And the favorite, Florida State, has taken a 7-0 lead.
Ball marked.
Our overhead shots tonight are from the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, based in Pompano Beach, Florida. At the controls is Captain Jim Maloney. And Captain Maloney is from Vienna, Virginia. A balmy night in South Florida. Temperature in the mid-70s. Winds gusting up to 10 miles an hour. Nebraska moving into the wind. Didn't bother them that one possession when they went 75 yards in 8 plays. And they lead the game by a 7-0 count. Nebraska had good field position. It ends around. Tamarik Vanover turns the field and turns up on the corners. And Tamarik Vanover has a man to beat. And he beats him. One man has a shot at Vanover. The great freshman, 91 yards. He's in the end zone again.
Whoa! He stepped out, Don. I think he stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, they're spotting the ball back at the 33-yard line. A wasted trip, but it was exciting.
Right in front of the Florida State bench. He's making the corner. The next 2 steps are critical. Oh, his toe looks like it just hit the white part of the floor of the Orange Bowl.
So instead of a 91-yard touchdown run on the end around, it becomes a 24-yard run.
Here he is right here. Now watch what happens at the bottom of the screen. The defender keeps running down the field. Kenny Wilhite, he doesn't even realize the reverse is coming. That's where he steps out.
Not often a 24-yard run is a disappointment. That one was. Now turning wide and not getting far is Sean Jackson. There's good penetration from outside linebacker Trev Alberts and inside backer Mike Anderson of Nebraska.
Well, you suppose Nebraska's defense now is sitting there saying, and these fellas is quick. These fellas is fast. I'm not sure we got the defense to handle these guys all night long.
That could have been a game breaker if that play went. Had Tamarik Vanover not stepped out of bounds, but he's a threat to go the distance every down he's on the field. He's out right now getting a breather. Coming in is Matt Pryor playing the wide off the top of your screen. Not nearly the speed, but great hands. Charlie Ward takes a look. They hem him in. He's looking. He's got nothing, and they get him at the 31-yard line. Well done by the Husker defense, and again, Trev Alberts, a quick outside backer. Number 34 was the tackler.
And Don, if we can look and see what the defense is here exactly, here are the 6 defensive backs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6th is right there. Here's the spy and a 4-man front for Nebraska. That's how they're trying to combat this Florida State offense. And they have 3 wide receivers and 2 running backs, and it actually works pretty well right here.
And that brings up 3rd down and 12 now. Ward sets in that fast break. When they get him and lose him, still on the run. You got to throw a net over this guy. Like Mandrake, he finds his way out of locked rooms, but this time the pass is incomplete. And Sean Jackson, the intended receiver, couldn't hold on.
Great defensive stop. It's designed to be a screen. Excellent pressure coming from the outside. It's Dante Jones that originally flushes him out. Ward stays with the play. And just an incomplete pass.
A very big defensive stop, Trump. On the way to that defensive stop, you'll remember a 91-yard touchdown run was called back. Oh, they're going to run the ball. Nebraska's in a complete return, and with ease, running for the first down is Wimberly, the punter, and there's another penalty marker down. They watched Nebraska earlier. Those down linemen sprinted back to get in blocking formation for the return. John Wimberly ran unopposed for 18 yards before they stopped him. Might be, though, against the FSU, Trump.
Yeah, but you know, this was not a designed run. The punt was almost blocked. Wimberly does an excellent job of keeping his head here.
Hey, the Nebraska guys cleared out, getting back downfield to try to block for the punt returner, Tyrone Hughes.
Tripping on the offense. The 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Still 4th down.
Coward is the guilty party.
93 Coward is the guy who comes up with the clip. Block in the back, no question about it. So Wimberley has to punt again, and I have a feeling this time Nebraska will be making sure that the punter is covered.
Well, they're coming with a 10-man rush. Tremendous punt by Wimberley into the wind. Going back is Tyrone Hughes. It takes a Nebraska bounce, starts the other way. And the Seminoles quickly down the ball at about the 19-yard line. A 49-yard punt, and that was into that gusting wind coming out of the north. A wind that could bring rain before this night is over. Sunday be with NBC Sports when we bring you the opening round of the NFL playoffs. Warren Moon and the Houston Oilers travel to Buffalo to take on Thurman Thomas and the Bills in an AFC wildcard game. The winner advancing to the divisional playoffs. The loser out for the season. So make NBC Sports your home for the playoffs starting this weekend and going straight through to the Super Bowl. It all starts at 12 noon on Sunday with NFL Live. And the Oilers and the Bills. Nebraska again tries to run, and again Calvin Jones is not quick enough to elude that super fast defensive front of Florida State. Sanders on the stop.
There's the offensive line of Florida State sitting over there. They're in certainly an excellent condition running this fast break offense, but so far minor misfires just produced 7 points for Florida State's offense.
It's interesting from Bobby Bowden saying that a Southern team has a tremendous advantage in bowl games from a climate standpoint and the big fan base that's here with Florida State. Hard thrown ball taken in by Corey Dixon of Nebraska. Tommy Frazier, a very well thrown ball coming in low so the defense couldn't make a play on it.
Again, though, you see the nice little roll by Frazier just on the side. And I see Marvin Jones on the sideline. Now, I don't think that's out of the ordinary. Bobby Bowden tries to use 20, 25 guys on his defense, so just wants to keep Jones fresh, Don. No injury.
He does have a little bit of a knee problem, but it was not expected to limit him tonight. I think he just is getting a breather on the sideline as a pitch back goes to Calvin Jones. And Nebraska runs its offense well for a first down. On a 3rd down and 2 play, they break it ahead for a gain of 7.
One half of the Wee-backs, Calvin Jones, the younger of the two, Derek Brown being the other. He didn't want to tell us a secret, but he owns a dog. It's a Hungarian something. I don't know what it is.
Vizsla.
All right, thank you very much. But the dog's name is Heisman. He didn't want us to know that. We found out. We paid big money for that information, Don.
He's hoping for that. Shot at it next year. He's certainly a contender as he runs hard into the Florida State defense. Tom Osborne says of his quarterback, Tommy Frazier, he's really still learning the business, but he has remarkable poise. And you have to running down the line options against these big hitters from Florida State. Sunday, it's the AFC wildcard game, Oilers and Bills tonight. It's the 59th Federal Express Orange Bowl from South Miami. And right now, the rains have come down hard. This was forecast. It's come to pass, and there could be balls on the field. Rain brings fumbles. Frazier with a great fake, and then he gives to Lance Lewis, who drives straight ahead. He may have lost it. But Nebraska fell on the ball. It's a first down for the Huskers at the 46-yard line of Florida State. 16-yard gain.
Lance Lewis is kind of the lost guy of the running backs here for Nebraska. Excellent job again up front. Big block by the offensive line. All of them. You can't pick anybody out. But I was going to say Will Shields, but he was one of several big blocks recovered by the center.
Jim Scott.
Number 51.
They say Jim Scott, but he's as good as any center they've ever had at Nebraska. They've had some great ones like Dave Remington. He was an Outland Trophy winner. Frazier, reverse pitch. This is Corey Dixon on the run. One of the fastest Huskers breaks it inside the 30, knocked down inside the 20, and Corey Dixon working hard all the way down to the 12-yard line. Some big blocks on the way. 35-yard gain on the play.
John Nance, defending for Florida State.
Excellent call. You see Again, watch this right guard. It's Will Shields. He's going to make a big block. It's the pivot again, and then the reverse pitch, which works beautifully. This is a very aggressive Florida State defense. See if you can pick up 75. Top right portion of the screen. He should appear about now. There's the Outland Trophy winner, 35 yards downfield to make a block.
And Chris Zizda also had a big block for the Huskers, as now they have their best challenge of this game, trailing 7-0 early in the second quarter. Frazier jumping over people, pitching back. It might have been picked. That might be Florida State's ball.
I think Derek Brooks caught it at the same time the running back did.
It looks though like they're pointing at Nebraska's football.
But Derek Brooks, number 10 there on the ground, he comes back, and I think they both catch it at the same time.
Like a tie in favor of the runner.
Again, it's the reverse pivot by Frazier. When he jumps up here, it destroys the timing. But watch number 10. I'm not so sure that Derek Brooks didn't catch that ball, and they give it to the offense. That's a break for Nebraska.
Calvin Jones running hard, but without much success.
9 carries, just 20 yards. He averages 7-2 a pop during the season.
Now Tommy Frazier makes a wise move, not wanting to blow a scoring opportunity. He didn't like the defense, so he wants to go over and check it out with the coaching staff. Seminoles continue to lead 7-0.
The Federal Express Orange Bowl is brought to you by Kentucky Fried Chicken. Nobody's cooking like today's KFC. By the Discover card. It pays to discover, the card that pays you back. By Lay's Potato Chips. One taste and you'll cash in your old chips. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
With Bob Trumpy and John Dockery, this is Don Brickey back at the Federal Express Orange Bowl in Miami. Florida State on defense leads 7-0. Nebraska with its best challenge. Second down coming up now. Straight ahead power dive. Jones takes the ball down close to the 6-yard line. They have another 1,000-yard rusher in addition to Calvin Jones and Derek Brown. But I don't think he's been on the field yet, Trump.
No, he's not.
He's got a bad shoulder. There's Derek Brown.
He's had very little contact even down here in Miami. The running game turning around a little bit here now for Nebraska. In the first quarter, they had just 21 yards rushing. In this drive here, they'd had 57 on 4 carries.
Third down. Huskers need 5. Frazier throws. He's got a man, but they can't make the connection. Calvin Jones was the intended receiver. The ball seemed to be there a bit behind him, perhaps. So the Huskers, who look to have a touchdown, lose it, and now they'll send out the field goal unit.
Pressure from Marvin Jones as you look at it very up close. The roll by Frazier. Marvin Jones should appear right there, hands up, right through the hand of Calvin Jones. He's used to lugging it, not catching it.
He's only caught 13 balls all season. Leading receiver for Nebraska only has 14 receptions. Myron Bennett, as you see, 7 of 10 on field goal attempts this year. Rain abates a bit, and he springs it up, and it looks to be good. They're ruling it no good. It's wide left. So Nebraska down close twice, fails to score both times. Once on a 4th and 1, they were stopped. Now on a field goal try, and the Seminoles continue to lead 7-0.
You know, I don't imagine Florida State has any sympathy for any team kicking to that goalpost in this stadium, you know?
That's the heartbreak end of the field for the Seminoles. Let's go down to John Dockery. John?
And Trump, you're absolutely right. It was on that 29-yard line, left side, looking into the open end of the Orange Bowl, that Florida State missed that field goal wide right. Remember the one 2 months ago against Miami? They lost 19-16, their only loss of the year. And just think, had that ball been a couple of yards left, what Florida State might be playing for on this New Year's night. Back to you guys.
Receiver around again. This is Tamarick Vanover running again, and Vanover again breaks it across the 45-yard line. And all the way to the 47-yard line. They had a 29-yard gain.
It's unusual to run 2 reverses and have them both produce yards like this, but it's beautifully handled, and Vanover does an excellent job here of avoiding a defender. Unbelievable foot speed on this Florida State football team. In fact, Tom Osborne is a little sensitive about it. When you talk to him about the speed when he comes down here to play in the Orange Bowl, he says, hey, all coaches recruit speed. We recruit speed. We just can't get them all out of Florida like Florida State does.
Eric Vanover has never been a sophomore Heisman Trophy winner. He's going to be a contender next year. Here's a downfield throw to Fryer. And there's an interference call down at the 5-yard line. The ball sailed over the head of the intended receiver, Matt Fryer. John Reese, who was beaten on the touchdown play by Vanover earlier, may be guilty of pushing.
Ball way underthrown. I think he's saying the ball was overthrown, not catchable. You're going to pick up the flag, Don.
There's no foul. The ball was ruled uncatchable.
Exactly.
Disregard the penalty.
The receiver with a nice little move, and here's the contact, and the ball is, it's a good fight. Well, now wait a minute. That's a lot closer on review.
Was that?
Yeah, that's a lot closer when you look at it the second time.
That is certainly limited contact if there was any.
But Reese was not looking back with the football, and Fryer was trying to get back to the football. Anyway, no flag. Second down.
Charlie Ward has now put the ball up 13 times on passes, has completed 6 for 56 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Oh, a throw to Charlie Ward. He's on the run inside the 35, and Charlie Ward is all the way down to the 22-yard line. Alabama used to run that. Notre Dame used to run it. Sean Jackson took the pitch, threw the ball back to his QB, and the game is 28 yards.
So let's see, what haven't we seen here? We've seen 2 reverses. Now the reverse pass to the quarterback. John Elway made this famous in the NFL. Ward, an excellent runner. We know that. We haven't seen a quarterback sneak yet from Florida State. I think we've seen just about everything else.
They've been the dominant offensive team in this game, but have a 7-0 lead. It could be bigger any time. Here's the throw downfield, and Charlie Ward comes in a bit high, and the gusting winds behind him are certainly going to affect the flight of the ball. He was looking at Kez McCorvey.
Well done here. Nice fake. Again, Ward showing great maturity. Looks to the right, comes back to the left. Didn't set his feet properly, Don. I'm sure Pat Kennedy, the basketball coach, when you shoot, you've got to set your feet properly. He didn't have his feet set right to make that throw.
Big cheer as Alabama's gone in front of Miami. Right now, Trump, Ward's having trouble making connection.
Yeah, 5 straight incompletions.
Well thrown ball, but Shannon Baker coming off the right flank couldn't hold on. It's a wet ball that's coming in. The rain is much lighter now than it was, but it's still raining.
Make it 6 straight incompletions. Baker just on the slant. You see the man coverage by Nebraska. And there's Tyrone Hughes, 33. He plays the free safety in the dime. And you see the thing on his, he got hit in the ribs, but Shannon Baker on his shin, he has an irritation on his shin that has really bothered him down here in Miami. He hasn't been able to practice much and run true to form.
So that's now 16 consecutive incompletions by quarterback Ward of the Seminoles. He's looking deep again. There he goes. And a tremendous defensive play. John Perella diving at him, the defensive end, number 92. Stopped Charlie Ward from going a long way, maybe the distance.
Well, boy, Don, they sure have this Nebraska defense separated all over the place. I mean, there's man coverage behind it, and these defensive tackles like Perella got to make desperation dive tackles on the heels of the quarterback. This is Maury's lucky in.
He's had a lot of luck. 10 of 18 field goals has he made this season. 40-yard attempt here. He spins it up, looking good all the way.
Oh, yeah.
It is. Sure. The Seminoles extend their lead to 10-0.
Yeah, sure, right. This is no big deal. Yeah, right.
We'll be back with the Florida State kickoff in a moment. A 40-yard field goal by Dan Mowry of Florida State has given the Seminoles a 10-0 lead. 10:54 to play in the first half. There's Mowry's kickoff with the wind behind him. He drives into the end zone, and Baron Miles downs the ball. First down and 10, Nebraska with the long field to go from their 20.
This was after the last series. Tom Osborne congratulating his defense. Good job holding Florida State to just 3 points. 31 consecutive winning seasons for Tom Osborne at Nebraska. 24 straight years with 9 wins or more. Both NCAA records.
The winningest percentage among any active NCAA coach, but the Huskers have lost their last 5 bowl games. Florida State's not lost a bowl game in a decade. 9-0-1. They had a tie in the Citrus Bowl back in '84. Here's a downfield throw as they go to gadget plays.
That was a lateral. We've seen it all here. The Sugar Bowl is 3-3. We got all the offense here on the floor of the Orange Bowl at the Federal Express Orange Bowl. It's got to be thrown backwards. But this is what Nebraska does to throw the ball.
Intended for Vincent Hawkins.
Not a bad throw by Tremaine Bell. A little off target, but at least it was spinning.
It sets the Huskers with a 2nd and 10. Frazier, errant throw. It's going to be recovered back inside the 5-yard line, picked up and taken in. Touchdown, Florida State.
Wait a minute, that's not a touchdown. You can't advance a fumble in college football. That goes back to the spot of the fumble, Don.
He signaled touchdown.
He did. Dan Footman is the guy in the recovery, picked it up. Derek Brown couldn't get it, but it's going to come back to the spot of the fumble.
No, you can't advance a fumble in college football, Trump.
This pitch by Frazier, a very poor choice. Derek Brown, the intended guy to get it.
Oh, they're ruling it. They're going to rule it right at the 1-yard line.
You can't advance a fumble.
Line.
You can't advance a fumble in college football unless the ball is in the air. If the ball is in the air, you can advance it. You know, we documented, and Tom Osborne.
Touchdown, and it's going to the 2-yard line. Then it'll be 1st and goal from there for Florida State.
Yeah, Tom Osborne said one of the greatest things about Tommy Frazier is he has protected the ball. We protected the ball. He's not made bad choices. My question is, Frazier in his home state, in front of 40 family members out of Bradenton, he's trying to be the MVP here on one play. Not a good choice, but a true freshman will make plays like that.
Very few teams protect the ball as well as Nebraska. During one stretch, they won 7.5 games without a fumble. 7.5 games without losing a fumble.
Nebraska led the nation.
Plus 18.
In the giveaway takeaway.
William Floyd with his first carry, a hard-running fullback used primarily as a blocker, but he was quickly taken down. So now the ball goes back to the spot. It's back at the 2-yard line. And it'll be 2nd down and goal for the Seminoles.
Reverse.
Vanover. Fumble. Ball on the field. Nebraska has it.
Well, John, 3 times to the well is too much on that reverse.
That would have been a lights-out score. Up 10-0 if they went to 17-0. That could have been it, but Nebraska stays in the game as the ball is picked up by defensive end John Perella.
These have not seen any signal by the officials. Nebraska's not leaving the field. What's going on here? They're saying Florida State still has the ball.
No fumble. 3rd down.
Man, we got a lot of no calls here, don't we?
I beg your pardon? It's a 3-yard loss. Tell me how this is not a fumble. Did they stop his forward advancement? No.
How's that not a fumble?
I don't know. I guess they're saying his knee is down, but there's no way. That's a fumble.
So a call goes against the Huskers and floor the Seminoles, and right now a throw to the end zone, and easing on in is Kez McCorvey. Touchdown, Florida State. Dan Mowry's back up now to try the point after.
That goes
mentioned, Donnie was basically uncovered. I mean, down on the goal line, when you see the quarterback just look over there and say, oh, there he is. Look at here. They forgot about him. Look, nobody even close. And, of course, that's after the fumble, non-fumble. Ward again stands tall in that pocket, scans the entire field. He doesn't blow up there when he sees a wide open receiver. He just goes through his fundamentals, gets it to McCorvey for an easy score.
Took them 3 plays to go 2 yards, but they get there.
Well, they shouldn't have had the opportunity, in my estimation. To Mark Vanover, no question that is a fumble, but ruled a 3-yard loss. Florida State keeps the ball and eventually scores.
Let's go back down to Doc.
Hey, Trump, I just went over and talked to one of the officials, and they told me this was the call on the fumble. They said they called the player down, and they were very emphatic about it. He was down, then the ball came out. Of course, they don't have the benefit of the replay, neither do I, but that was their official ruling when I talked to him a moment ago. Back to you.
The umpire in the end zone signaled touchdown. They took it off. They do score Florida State. It now goes to 17-0.
Well, in previous lives, they used to employ a system of replay to correct mistakes like that. But that was in a previous life, Mr. Craigie.
Mowry steps into the ball again, hits a spinner with a wind behind him. Aaron Miles fields it at the 5. Miles not done. He's across the 40, running an open field. He's finally taken down out of the 48-yard line of Florida State.
The kicker, Mowry, kind of bent him out of shape there a little bit, helped his teammates make this stop. Back to the touchdown by McCorvey. Here is McCorvey. He's going to run what's called a post corner. Fools the corner in coverage, and Charlie Ward does an excellent job of looking away and then coming back to it. Just beautifully executed. That's an easy touchdown.
Straight ahead. And the ball is taken down to the 32-yard line by Derek Brown, who finally gets a carry with a bad shoulder.
What Osborne has done with these 2 kids is they basically alternated quarters, but I think it's remarkable. You're going to find some football teams who have 2,000-yard rushers like Nebraska does. You're not going to find any team who has 2,000-yard rushers who alternate. They're not in the game at the same time.
Raise your hands off to Lance Lewis. He takes a hard strike at the 29-yard line. Let's watch Marvin Jones here, Trump, the dominator.
He's not a bad guy to watch all day. He just has that sense for where the ball is, runs through the block of Hawkins, 38, throws the fullback to the ground. This guy is extraordinary. You name it on defense, he can do it. He told us he's thinking about coming out and draft. He says, I don't care. I'll play for the Alaskan Snow Crabs. I don't care who drafts me. I'll play in the NFL.
Whoever drafts him, it's going to be high. #1 rated defensive player. If he does come out, the speculation is that he will, as Derek Brown runs again. Official ruling on the fumble advancement. If the fumble is behind the line of scrimmage, you cannot advance it. So it's in front of the line of scrimmage, an advanced ball. The defense can advance it. You can advance fumbles in college football under that scenario, as we're now down to 7 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the first half. Nebraska needing points badly. Here's Frazier stepping in, throwing it sidearm. A little wizardry, but to no avail. Let's go back down to John Dockery.
Thank you, Don. I'm with Fred Jones, Marvin's bigger brother. And what kind of a game is little brother having so far?
He's having a decent game right now. They're putting a couple people on him, so he's making it a little tough for him. Doing a little bit of mixed direction plays to kind of like hold him up, but overall he's doing okay.
Well, I know you played at Florida State as well. Was there any way that little brother Marvin was not going to go to Florida State?
I kind of like doubt it, because when I was getting recruited, he was right there in the living room watching everything, and in the summertime, he used to come up and spend weeks with me at a time, so he grew kind of used to it.
All right, well, thank you, and good luck to you now.
All right, thank you.
Fred Jones, a member of the Dade County Police Department, Marvin's brother. 4th down and 8 for Nebraska. First Trump, they had their kicking team out, their punt team, but now they send quarterback Tommy Frazier and the offense back out. So they're going for it in the rain and in the wind on 4th down, needing 8. All position just inside the 30-yard line of Florida State. Frazier from the shotgun throws downfield and makes a perfect throw. Vincent Hawkins on his knees takes in the ball at the 17-yard line. A 12-yard gain and a Husker first down.
That would have been a 46-yard field goal attempt into the wind. Excellent pass protection by this very gifted offensive line. You see Marvin Jones move out of the picture. He's reading the eyes of the quarterback Tommy Frazier. Zone coverage. Safety's way off. 12-yard pickup. 4th down conversion.
So the Huskers looking to get points before halftime. Still a lot of time left. Here's a pitch. Derek Brown loses it, falls on it. Lost yardage, but the Huskers keep the ball.
Well, that's tough, too, because that's such a big part of their offense. Running that option. Frazier has got to be very accurate with that pitch. They option off the inline on the line of scrimmage, and now put that one on Brown. That pitch was a good pitch by Tommy Frazier. Brown should have caught it as he comes out of the game.
6 minutes and 27 seconds to go in the half now. Clock running. 2nd down and 15 coming up. Jones and Brown fumbled only twice all season for Nebraska. They were 6 full games without any turnovers at all. 7.5 without a fumble loss. Frazier looked like they were trying to set some kind of a screen, but Florida State just crashed apart the blocking scheme. Not close to a gain.
Blitz coming by Florida State. Ball was intended for Calvin Jones, one of the 2 I-backs, and you're right, Frazier couldn't get the ball to him cleanly. Now watch the blitz coming from both ends. Lots of pressure there. He's got to throw it by everybody. Probably a good choice on Frazier's part.
Frazier 3 of 8 throwing the ball for 37 yards. Hands in, goes to the end zone, and he will hit nothing at all. Let's see, do they go again on 4th and 15? Apparently not.
And 15 from the 22.
Byron Bennett, their place kicker, comes out.
Missed his first attempt.
This is a heavy load for Byron right now. He's going to be kicking into that gusting wind. The flag is almost straight out. And the open end of the Orange Bowl, the north end of the stadium, a 39-yard attempt. He's got to hit it hard to get it up into this wind. He hits it hard, but wide.
I guess the Miami Hurricanes own that goalpost. There's just no other way to look at it.
Coach Batten talking about practicing at the University of Miami. He said they do have funny goalposts here. They all lean over to the right.
Well, there's absolutely no sympathy as the Florida State offense again takes the field.
Let's go back down to the dock.
You know, Crick, that's an important, I just got a report on injury. Vanover went into the locker room, slight separation of his left shoulder, status uncertain. We'll keep you up to date on it, but that could hurt Florida State's offense enormously.
Yeah, who's going to run that reverse for Florida State? Him out.
Vanover and Ward both are going to be legitimate Heisman Trophy candidates, 2 guys from the same team next season. And straight up the middle. Sean Jackson running hard, breaks it ahead on a first down carry for a gain of 8 yards. Taken down by the strong safety, Steve Carmer.
Now again here, an entirely different mindset for the Florida State offense. They come with 2 running backs, a big fullback in Floyd, Jackson behind him, and they run just the I formation. This is the offense that Bobby Bowden used to run when he had Marion Butts here.
Yeah.
When he had Sammy Smith here. I mean, a lot of great running backs right out of that I back.
Amp Lee.
Dexter Carter.
Comanche waves. All of them track athletes. Again, Sean Jackson. Very nice ball handling by Charlie Ward. Made the drop like he still had the ball. Held the defense, and Jackson broke off another good gainer for a first down.
Number 1, baby, number 1, all day long.
Here's the guy who has been designated as the kind of spy, but with the 2 running backs in there, David White's got to make some tackles. His father works for an oil company, and his family presently lives in Jakarta, Indonesia. That's a long trip home, isn't it?
A real long trip home. They made the long trip to Tokyo when they played Kansas State over there. Charlie Ward on the run, and he is across the 40 on a 1st and 10 play. Way back in the pass drop, he sprints ahead and gains about 3 yards. He's 2nd down and 7.
I would imagine the only one that doesn't like to see Charlie Ward, the quarterback here, run and get himself bruised and maybe broken is Pat Kennedy, the Florida State basketball coach, because tomorrow night, Charlie Ward is going to be on the bench for the Florida State Seminoles. They play Florida, but now he is the proud possession of one Bobby Bowden, and Bobby's going to use him any way he wants. Thank you.
He'll be playing January 6th. That'll be his first game in basketball. We go against Virginia. Downfield throw. Beautifully done. This is Shannon Baker on the run. He's inside the 40 and down to the 37-yard line. And a penalty marker's down. Might have had that face mask again.
Steve Carmer, the strong safety, I think, gets the face mask. The man in coverage, John Reese, number 6 for Nebraska, has been taken advantage of a little bit here tonight.
Yeah, they spotted that number early.
Nice little out, and watch the move. Very nice move there by Baker up the field. Let's see if we can see the face mask. Yes, no question whatsoever.
Bobby Bowden talking about the advantage a Southern team has. Tom Osborne said some year he'd like to play Duluth in a bowl game. So we'd be the Wisconsin Green Bay.
I'm not going to Duluth with you to do that bowl. You're on your own, pal.
Fast break, shotgun set. Ward steps up and runs out of bounds inside the 33-yard line. Charlie Ward's dad, Charlie Ward Sr., was a standout football player for the Rattlers of Florida A&M, a very fine high school coach in Georgia. He's in Thomasville, Georgia. His dad grades out every one of his plays. Even now, he grew up a coach's son and plays like one. He really knows the game.
Yes, he does. You know, the impact this kid has had on the ACC, the conference that Florida State now plays football in. He was a write-in most valuable player winner in the conference this year.
Bobby Bowden says about him, don't want a word to describe him. It's wonderful. On the field, off the field, he's a vice president of the student body, a top student, and one of the greatest college athletes in America. Basketball and football. Might be a free play. Charlie lets it fly. Going for the ball. Looks like a catch. Coming down with the ball was Omar Ellison. They're going to bring it back.
Where do they get all these guys?
Now they're ruling it. Play's going to go, apparently. Penalty marker was down at the line of scrimmage.
I think it's offsides against the defense.
Offsides on the defense is declined.
It goes.
Yeah, why not? Top of the screen. Again, it's man coverage. You also see the guy offsides. Well done here. Coming back with the football. You know, we could spend the entire night talking about Charlie Ward. Bobby Bowden, who said, you know, when Charlie Ward graduates, we're all going to have to go back to coaching.
Is that right? Yes, he did. It's not hard to be a Charlie Ward fan after you meet with him for a while.
He's a good kid. Nicknamed Choir Boy by his teammates. He wears 17 in football, and his basketball number is number 12. He wears on a necklace.
Ward throws towards the end zone. It skips in front of the intended receiver, Shannon Baker.
Intended for Shannon Baker.
As Ward gets up, his football hero, by the way, is Randall Cunningham. And the other night, he got to meet his basketball hero. The security guards for Florida State here at the Federal Express Orange Bowl got a hold of the security guards of the Chicago Bulls. And Michael Jordan and Charlie Ward sat down and had a conversation after the Miami Heat game. He is as a point guard for Florida State.
He doesn't wear 12 in football. That number belongs to Matt Fryer, one of his receivers. Here's a throw and a drop down at the 2-yard line. On the crossing pattern coming out of the backfield was the fullback, William Floyd.
Florida State just doesn't seem to have the intensity. Up 17-0. Just the little things going wrong here. There were 2 receivers there, Baker and Floyd. Floyd's normally the guy who runs it for a yard or 2 for the touchdown. But he makes it look easy, doesn't he?
Sure does. And the Seminoles are in command, 17-0. An extended drive for Florida State. 8 plays, 70 yards. Seminoles challenging again already with a commanding 17-0 lead. Don Crickey with Bob Crumpy and John Dockery at the Federal Express Orange Bowl.
3rd and goal for Florida
Watch
State.
for Charlie Ward running here, Don.
Averages 5 yards a rush when he runs. Loses the ball, gets it himself. Charlie Ward does great things. He throws towards the end zone and almost makes a connection for a touchdown to Omar Ellison.
Ward fumbles.
You don't have him down, Trump. You knock him down and sit on him.
Yeah, he's so gifted an athlete, you just can't imagine what it takes. Miles was the man in coverage. He has such presence. That's the thing I like about Charlie Ward. You know, when this season started, Florida State had no idea what they had in Charlie Ward. They were looking for a quarterback. And in the first part of the season, they tried the play-action passing, didn't work. And when they got to the shotgun, they discovered what an uncut gem they had.
And Dan Mowry ready to try a field goal try from 24 yards out.
Yeah, all those people in town, sure, right, yeah, he makes 2 field goals in this end.
Florida State doesn't duck anybody. Next year, their out-of-conference games will be against Miami, Florida, Notre Dame. They open a home-and-home series with Notre Dame, a 2-year series. They'll play at South Bend next November. High overhead tonight is the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. It was 1960 when the Goodyear Blimps made their national television debut. And it was right here at the Orange Bowl.
You know, speaking of Bobby Bowden, Florida State University, in the last 6 seasons, they've lost 8 games. They've lost 5 to Miami, 1 to Florida. The only other losses are to Southern Mississippi and Clemson. This guy's trying to be the number one, have the number 1 team in the country. He can't even have the number 1 team in the state. That's how good football at the collegiate level in Florida is.
Hey, Trump, one of the Florida State coaches I was talking before the game, Chuck Amato, defensive coach, was saying if Florida, Miami, and Florida State never played each other, some year they'd all go undefeated.
Yeah. I mean, these 3 teams produce so many football players to the NFL. It's scary when you sit down and look at the NFL roster.
High spinning kick by Mowry. Aaron Miles at the 8-yard line. Looks for the gap and finds one, and he advances the ball out to the 36-yard line, then loses it. One critical development was the replay show without question that Charlie Ward fumbled the ball on a rollout. They called it no fumble, and subsequently they scored a touchdown.
Well, here they're going to rule the same thing. No fumble, down by contact. Nebraska maintains the ball. 2:24 to go, down 20-0.
First down for Nebraska. From their
Knee
37-yard
down,
line.
ball out. Good call by the officials.
Frazier. A tough throw, rolled in left, throw in right.
Yeah, and you see, that's certainly a product of this kind of offense as you look at the Bowl Day Blues here for Nebraska. The last 4 bowls they've played in, they've lost by a combined total of 90 points. 90 points.
This is not good.
This is not good.
Well, I asked Tom Osborne about how he feels about it, and there was a lot of criticism, despite having that great winning percentage, about the bowl game misfortunes. And he said, well, a lot has to do with who we're playing. Yes, played Miami a couple times down here, so you try that one out. Frazier pulls up. And as is so often the case, he who hesitates is lost back at the 35-yard line. Clifton Abraham and LaVon Brown got him.
Frazier's not had a good half. 3 of 10, just 39 yards. Of course, they only average 100 yards passing. He looked at the sideline to see where the marker was to see if he could throw it. He was going to hesitate there and throw the ball down the field, but Mr. Abraham said, no, you're going to stop right here.
Osborne, when asked about his consistent running game and the lack of a pass offense, says, well, we play, this is how you win. We're equipped to do what we can do best to win. And said it's not easy to throw the ball in the Big 8 late in the season when the weather turns bad. Now Frazier. There's now what a throw. Hits Corey Dixon down to the 45-yard line. That's the best throw of the night. 19-yarder right on target.
1:26 to go, trailing 20-0, and they don't have a straight drop back pass. It's a slight roll. Dixon is the inside receiver, gets by the bump. Well thrown by Frazier, his 4th completion of the half. But Florida State's more than happy to let him do that.
First down from the Seminoles, 45.
Pitch back. Running hard is Calvin Jones, and Jones is going to be taken out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. And that stops the clock with 1:13 to play in the first half.
Don, you were mentioning Tom Osborne, and he's taken a lot of heat for the athletes he has and has not gotten. He said, look, the state of Nebraska is 1.5 million people. We came down here to play the Orange Bowl, and I mean, they got phone books here that only part of Miami is 1.5 million people. So we don't have the people to draw from that they have down here.
And that's one of the reasons that Florida turns out so many great players is it's a huge population base. Good weather. It's a year-round sport at a lot of schools. Downfield, Corey Dixon. He takes it in. Nebraska's on the board. Thank you so very much, says Corey Dixon. Opportune bounce of the ball on a 41-yard touchdown pass play.
They played yours and mine with it, Don.
So it's 20-6. Corey Sawyer, one of the DBs, had a hand on the ball, and Corey Dixon ended up with it for Nebraska.
Back and forth, like a tennis match. Dixon ends up with it, 6 points. Yes, sir. 4 catches, now 86 yards, and a touchdown. A bow to the crowd.
Isn't that what they used to tell you, Trump? Look it into your hands.
Look it into somebody's hands, hopefully yours.
Extra point is driven up and through by Byron Bennett. And so with 1:03 to play in the first half, Nebraska cuts into the Florida State lead and now trails by 13 points. 5 plays, 63 yards in a minute and a half.
Watch this pattern. The out and up. And unfortunately, the defensive back Corey Sawyer bites. The ball hangs up. Sawyer's hands off the helmet, off the shoulder pads. Touched about everything you can touch down there, and it ends up for a touchdown. Thank you very much.
These are excellent corners that Florida State has also. Corey Sawyer and Clifton Abraham. And Corey Dixon on the board for Nebraska. Bobby Bowden said they're as good as any pair we've ever had. You've got to consider he's had guys like Buckley and Sanders.
Hey, the hard, baby. Hey, the hard.
I would not be celebrating too much just yet.
No. Dr. Tom Osborne doesn't care for that. Tommy Frazier, a touchdown throw in the Orange Bowl.
Vanover Trump is not on the field to return the kickoff. A slight shoulder separation for the freshman sensation, and now Tiger McMillan is back to return the kick for Florida State. There's Tiger, got the real name Sam. A little Tiger fan he was quite fond of, and got the nickname Tiger long ago. Yeah. Takes a full stick. That's back downstairs now to John Dockery. Doc?
Crick, you were talking about pretty good cornerbacks. How about this man, Terrell Buckley? Not a bad one. Terrell, what is it with FSU and defensive backs?
I think it's the attitude along with the coach. Coach Mickey Andrews thrives on us being great.
Tough year for you. You came all that way at Green Bay and you don't make the playoffs. Let me ask you, who do you like in the AFC to go all the way to the Super Bowl?
I like the Houston.
Houston's playing Buffalo, you know, up in Buffalo. It could be a weather thing. You think they can beat Buffalo?
I think so because it's a momentum thing, and right now Houston has the momentum.
What about on the other side? What about the NFC? Who do you like to go to the Super Bowl?
It's out of 2 teams, Minnesota and San Francisco. Minnesota has the momentum right now, and San Francisco is San Francisco.
All right, we appreciate it. Good luck to you now.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Well put.
Terrell Buckley, the winner of the Thorpe Award last year. College football's best defensive back. Coach Bowden let his guys go out and have some fun. He had a 1 a.m. curfew earlier in the week. They said everybody in by 1 a.m. though. He said, ain't much that happens after 1 a.m. that's good.
That's right. He's now very proud of his son Terry, who got the head coaching job at Auburn. He's got to not only recruit against Dennis Erickson in Miami, and now he's got to recruit against his son at Auburn.
Breaking the run is Tiger McMillan out to the 25-yard line. That could do it for the first half of play here at the Federal Express Orange Bowl. As the favorite stands tall at halftime, Florida State, champion of the ACC, leading Big 8 champion Nebraska 20-7.
At the Orange Bowl, the score, Florida State 20, Nebraska 7.
Now let's go back down to Doc.
Bobby, a moment, if you would. What about the first half? Weather didn't bother you at all?
No, the weather, it's not that bad. It did get some rain, but I don't think it's having any effect on the game.
Well, what about the first half then? You seem to move the ball at times on spurts and offense, but you couldn't put them away. It's 20-7.
Well, that's true. We've done pretty well as far as scoring is concerned, but they can come back and beat us. We're going to have to execute better, and we're going to have to put some points on the board.
What about Vanover?
Vanover got hurt a little bit. I don't know how much. Went into the dressing room. I got to find out.
What does that do to the offense if you don't have him for the second half?
Well, it takes away a home run hitter, as you just saw, because you saw his potential of breaking the game.
Thank you, Bobby. Good luck.
Thank you.
And now we're going to go to Jim Lampley in New York for the Prudential halftime report.
College 23.
Florida State 20, Nebraska 7 at halftime of the Federal Express Orange Bowl. Oh. And Happy New Year once again from Don Trickey and Bob Trumpy. Interesting first half. Some very big plays in this game. And also a very good job, Trump, by the Florida State defense, stopping the power run game of Nebraska, holding their top backs to just 2.6 yards a carry.
That's absolutely amazing. They average 6.6 yards a carry. The two of them, Jones and Derek Brown, for the season, 2-6 in his first half. It's not worked. Nebraska relies on the running game. They couldn't get it done. Florida State, we saw what we expected we'd see.
First score of the game, Tamarik Vanover, the sensational freshman, ran a post pattern, beat John Reese. This was some 25 yards out, and Florida State went in front at this point 7-0. Later, Nebraska would score on a most sensational play. Tommy Frazier, their freshman quarterback, drops back, takes a deep look. Now he's throwing into the wind at the north end of the stadium, lofts the ball high. Cornerback Corey Sawyer, Florida State, goes up, tips the ball, but it comes down in the hands of Corey Dixon of Nebraska, and the Huskers were on the board. It's interesting what Bobby Bowden had at halftime. He said these guys can go back and beat us. Let's see what the head coach, Tom Osborne of Nebraska, thinks as he talked with John Dockery.
Thank you, Don Cricket. Coach, the touchdown before the half, what did it do for your team?
Well, I think that we played maybe a little score would indicate. We gave them a cheap touchdown, and we missed a couple field goals. And we feel maybe the score could be 17-13 right now, pretty close. So we just got to turn it up a notch, take a little better care of the ball, execute better. We made a lot of mistakes. Florida State has a good team, but I think you'll see us play awful hard the second half.
Was there anything specific on the field goals, or did he just miss them?
I don't know. Those things just happen, and we feel bad about it. I'm sure that nobody feels worse than the kicker, but we'll come back and do all right.
Any specific adjustments for the second half?
Well, we've talked about a few things, but the main thing is execution. We've had some plays that have been there, haven't executed quite like we need to, particularly on the options.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
John.
Okay, Doc. Once again, Nebraska finding itself in the dilemma they are in so often when they come to the big bowl games, down in a pass situation without a great pass offense. And now a word from Federal Express.
On behalf of our 90,000 Federal Express employees worldwide, we're extremely pleased to once again be part of the Federal Express Orange Bowl. Miami serves as the gateway for Federal Express to all Latin American cities, and we're proud to be part of this great city and its continuing growth. Our Federal Express family extends our warmest wishes for a happy and healthy new year, and we thank you for your business.
Now let's break down a quick scoring summary. First quarter score, Tamarik Vanover, 25-yard reception, 7-0 Seminoles. Dan Mowry hit a 40-yard field goal in the second quarter. The Noles extended their lead at this point to 10-0. Not long after, it was 17-0. Kez McCorvey on a 4-yard touchdown reception. And then Mowry hit another field goal to extend the Florida State lead to 20-0. Corey Dixon, with that juggling act in the end zone, finally got Nebraska on the board in the second quarter, late in the second quarter with a minute and a half to play. And Nebraska now trails at halftime 20-7 as a driving rain falls on the Orange Bowl. It was warm and sunny most of the day. Rain was forecast, and Trump rain rolled in.
Yeah, and of course for Nebraska to get back in this football game now, they got to do something that they're not used to, and that's throw the ball. For Charlie Ward, he's not had a great half, but the scoring for Florida State in the first half has looked so easy. It's looked so difficult for Nebraska.
The turnover count is even, one each way. There's probably going to be more, though, in the second half, because this is now a torrent of rain falling. It's like a car wash here at the Orange Bowl.
The halftime numbers, you can see the first downs in favor of Florida State, total yards in favor of Florida State. And there's one big play that happened in that first half, that fumble, which was ruled a non-fumble by Charlie Ward, resulted in a touchdown for Florida State. Could have made the game awful close, Don.
There's no question. As you pointed out, Trump, it was indeed a fumble, but it wasn't called one, and Florida State subsequently scored. It would, if not for that touchdown, be a 13-7 game. But a lot of strange things could happen in the second half because it can't rain harder than this. The kickoff downfield. Every kick will be an adventure from now on as Tiger McMillan runs it back. You do well to protect the ball with both arms. It'll be on the field shortly. And here comes the Cornhusker offense out. Eric Brown on the sidelines. As you see, Nebraska averaging just 3.5 yards a rush. They averaged just under 6 yards a run through the season. And their top runners averaged over 7 yards a carry.
Return of 18 yards.
Blowing right into the booth here.
Yes, wind is starting to blow the rain here a little bit sideways, Don.
It cannot rain harder than this.
Fatal pass. Nothing stays around here weather-wise very long.
End off and running hard is Calvin Jones. He takes it on a power slant left and gets the ball across the 25-yard line. Eric Brooks brought him down.
Is this what they describe as sheets of rain?
I tell you, this is an adventure now. Every step of the way from now on is an odyssey. Very rarely, Trump, in our career together have we seen it rain sideways, but it's doing that now.
Actually, I think we just had one rain up.
It is, man, it's unbelievable, the rain. Let's go down to Doc if he's still out of water.
Well, I'm almost drowned, but I'm hanging in there. But remember, Trump and Crick, when we talked to both coaches, they both wanted a dry field. Osborne said for his running machine, he wanted a dry field, but it was really Bobby Bowden who said, hey, the one thing I don't want is torrential rains, which would change the flight of the ball. It would really affect our offense. So this is rain that will affect both offenses big time. Turnovers are a major problem.
Doc, you get an award for hanging in down there. Rolling now and handing off and coming back the other way for Nebraska is Calvin Jones as he takes the ball to the 30-yard line, and that brings up fourth down. Roderick McIntosh, nose tackle, made the stop for Florida State. Tell you one thing, you're a punt returner. I think you do anything but go near the football.
Let it bounce. No question about it. And it even the punt snap down is a big adventure. Stiggy is going back. He's a two-time GTE Academic All-American in veterinary medicine.
Yeah, he just got an $18,000 scholarship grant from the National Football Foundation and College Hall of Fame, as the fair catch is signaled for. What a great punt. Boom, downfield all the way down to the 15-yard line. Corey Sawyer doing his best, I'm going to catch it act, and letting the ball fly overhead, though, and it turns out to be a 56-yard punt.
So again, now Charlie Ward and the coaches from Florida State have several different choices as to offense. I would think this would be the conservative approach. Run the ball. Floyd is in the game. I think I do see Floyd in the game. Let's see who else is in there running back. We also got Sean Jackson in there, so Florida State can be very conservative here with this 27 lead.
20-7 is the count. Hanover's back on the field. That's good news for the Seminoles as they go to the run on first down. Nebraska forces the play. Sean Jackson ran the ball, and Keneally comes up on the stop, along with Anderson. Mike Anderson, an inside linebacker.
Keneally on the tackle for Nebraska.
Well, I guess if you're Florida State, You don't like weather like this. Nebraska, they're thinking, well, if we're in Lincoln, it's snowing so hard we can't even see our feet. So this isn't bad. Nice and warm. A little pleasant shower. It'll pass. No big deal.
A natural grass field. And this is the first time all year long that Nebraska's played on a natural grass field. It's strictly a turf league, artificial turf in the Big 8. William Floyd runs the ball, and he is stopped at about the 21-yard line. Game clock, 11:48 to play. Early in the third quarter. Florida State, after building a 20-0 lead, now leads 20-7.
Don, for the rest of this game now, the most important factor is field position. Forget what you can and can't do. Protect the football, protect your punter, and play field position for the remaining half of this Florida Express Orange Bowl 1993. That's Federal Express Orange Bowl 1993.
It is indeed, and it is also a 3rd down and 4 for the Seminoles. Charlie Ward living dangerously, looking to put it up in the rain. He dumps it off to Sean Jackson. Nicely done play by the Seminoles. And Jackson gets ahead to the 35-yard line for a 1st down.
Farmer, the strong safety, comes up and nails him.
14-yard gain.
Charlie Ward, very good choice here. He's looking downfield. He does not want a chance. He almost puts this one to the running back. He didn't really throw it as much as he just kind of stretches it over the arm. Sean Jackson with the reception. Big hit by Farmer, the strong safety.
Nebraska player shaken up, and one of the very best, Travis Hill, their All-American outside linebacker, down. And that saps the clock with 11:01 to play. Cornhuskers lost only 2 games this year, one to the University of Washington, and then the upset at Iowa State.
There's Travis Hill, 93, right in the edge of the... Oh, he's hit by his own man. He's hit by John Perella, number 92, his own man.
But Travis is up, and he runs off the field. He'll be back.
Now the rain is dissipating slightly.
It's still a heavy rain. It's not the fire hose we had coming on a little bit earlier.
This field does drain, and drain very well, Don. So if it can stop raining, they can get back to their normal game plan.
A hit behind the line. Sean Jackson took the ball for the Seminoles, and Nebraska was reading run and Jackson all the way. This is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy and John Dockery at the 1993 Federal Express Orange Bowl, where the superpower from the ACC, Florida State, is holding to a 20-7 lead over Nebraska. The Seminoles build a 20-0 lead. Nebraska scored late in the second quarter on a 41-yard pass play. And now, as torrents of rain continue to pelt the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida State operates on offense. 2nd down arises. They need about 11.
And they go to the shotgun.
Charlie Ward, their sensational junior quarterback, throws down the field and somehow finds his man against the rush. Shannon Baker, curl-in pattern, and he holds on in the rain.
Fourth pass complete to Shannon Baker.
Those Florida State players on the sideline looking for boats. Again, Charlie Ward stands very tall in the pocket. Baker just with a little curl-in pattern. He's able to make the connection. John Reese is was the defender in coverage. He's been picked on quite a bit today. Shannon Baker with the reception.
They've been calling his number up. Shannon Baker sure-handed, and now Kamaric Vanover, despite the slight shoulder separation, the extraordinary freshman player is flanked to the top of the screen. Great fake, and then Charlie Ward did lose it, picked it up, and shot ahead to the 50-yard line. On a 3rd and 3, he gets a 1st down.
Geez, it almost looks like the fumble-rooski that Nebraska's run here. The snap from center. Oh, we got a man down, too.
It looks like might be one of the offensive linemen. Mitchell, Patrick McNeil is down.
Watch when this ball hits the ground, the presence that Charlie Ward has. Comes right back up through the line of scrimmage. Nice 1st down pickup. Drive stays alive for Florida State.
So while Patrick McNeil is attended to, there's a timeout on the field.
The Federal Express Orange Bowl is brought to you by Federal Express. For documents, packages, and freight worldwide, our most important package is yours. By Diet Coke, as a reminder to taste it all in '93. By GTE. And by Lincoln Mercury and the complete line of Lincoln luxury automobiles.
Rain continues to come down in torrents.
First down.
Who cares when you're having fun, right?
Yeah. You can pick the guys out of the Midwest, can't you, down here in Miami to see the Federal Express Orange Bowl?
First down and 10 now for Florida State. Pitch back. Sean Jackson. Turns the corner, turns it up, and is knocked out of bounds as a penalty marker comes in. Maybe late hit. Steve Carmer came across and made the stop on Jackson.
Steve Harmer and
Face
Toby
mask
Wright
against Nebraska.
on the tackle.
Don, this is no great scoop, but I'll say this anyway. With this field, you got to go traps, you got to go leads, you got to go powers up the field. You can't be thinking to the sideline here.
Rain letting up somewhat, but still coming down.
The face mask by the defense. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
See if we can pick up at the end of the run. 31 is Carmer, the strong safety. The stiff arm by Jackson. And then it looks like Carmer's left hand, although I can't really pick it up exactly where the hand is on the face mask. But there was an official standing right there.
Run straight ahead to the fullback, William Floyd of Florida State. He's quickly taken down by Mike Anderson with 8:45 to play in the third quarter. 20-7 is the score. Florida State coming in maybe a field goal away from being #1 in the country. You remember that missed field goal in this stadium earlier in the season against the University of Miami, and the Canes prevailed that day 19-16. That is Florida State's only defeat of this year. They've not lost a bowl game in a decade. They're 9-0-1 over the last 10 years. 9 victories and a tie against Georgia in the '84 Citrus Bowl.
Florida State now done alternating tight ends, bringing the plays into Charlie Ward.
Pitch back to Jackson. Well done by Seminoles as Jackson turns it inside the 35-yard line and down to the 34. Lob pitch. Perfect lead to Sean Jackson. First down.
A very nice pitch. You see that Jackson does an excellent job here of avoiding the first guy, gets his shoulders square upfield into the defensive backfield, forces the defensive backs to make the tackle.
Jackson from New Orleans. A lot of great players coming out of his high school, St. Augustine. 5 players in this game from that high school. Lob pass. Ruled out of bounds. McCorvey, a rangy wide receiver, made the play, but ruled that he did not have 1 foot in bounds.
You only need 1 foot in bounds in college football.
Well, he doesn't quite have possession yet.
Hard to tell. You're looking at his back, yeah, but he at least sensed where the sideline was, made the attempt to get his feet in.
The deluge has abated somewhat. And the field is, as you point out, Trump, in surprisingly good condition. This is prescription athletic turf. It's a natural grass field, but it can drain with the suction system 6 inches of rain an hour. Here's an all-out blitz, and Charlie Ward eludes it. Steps up and runs ahead, and when it seemed he was lost for a 5-yard loss, he gets ahead and gains 8 yards on the play.
That's the great value of a guy like Charlie Ward, as opposed to using a hot receiver in a blitz. He just runs the ball almost on a quarterback draw. Eventually, Tyrone Bird makes the tackle here, number 8 for Nebraska, but again, a nice pickup. Actually, considering the weather when this drive started, Florida State's done a pretty good job here at the beginning of the second half.
Yes, they have. Good ball control. This is what they call the fast break offense, a basic shotgun. Ward swings it out, gets a nice lead on it again, and Jackson spins ahead for some yards on a 3rd down and 4 play. He's very close to a first down, seems to have him. We're going to make the spot.
Excellent catch by Jackson. Until yesterday, we thought that Tiger McMillan was going to be the starter, but obviously in practice, Jackson had impressed the coaching staff. Again, the outlet receiver, not thrown particularly well by Charlie Ward, but it serves the function. Get it out there in somebody else's hands. A nice move. Missed tackle by Toby Wright. And a first down pickup.
Coach Bowden said they're going to have to change the way they play defense to contain Charlie Ward. All-out blitzes are going to burn him, and they've been using blitzes. And Ward is so quick. He eludes the blitzer and the pass rush, and he just takes it ahead on his own, weaving his way through tacklers. Tom Osborne said, matter of fact, he said if they ran this offense the entire season, Charlie Ward has to be the Heisman winner with the numbers he put up over the 3 games they used it.
You saw 96, White, David White. He's the spy for the quarterback. And all Charlie's got to do is get by him or get even with him, and he can outrun him. Tyre eventually, with a good block there to spring at Charlie Ward through the line of scrimmage, but White's got a big assignment covering Charlie Ward as that spy in his Nebraska defense.
Our run to Sean Jackson, who's getting a load of work tonight for the Noles, and he takes it close to the 10-yard line.
And as we mentioned, here's David White, the linebacker. He's listed at 250, but in fact only weighs about 225 or 230. 44 Floyd gets a good pop on him, and he's a no factor on the tackle.
Sean Jackson's now run the ball 9 times. He's gained 42 yards. As Perry for a first down. Extended drive you talked about, Trump. This is the 15th play coming up. Nice play pick. Takes the pitch. Ward throws. He comes in high. Incomplete.
That was intended for McCorvey. A nice little half roll again there. They're trying to pick on Reese. McCorvey's already caught one over Reese tonight.
Bobby Bowden talking about his bowl success. He said there's not many upsets in bowl games. When you get good teams, he said you usually win because you have the better football team.
Yeah, and in the case of these two football teams, it's all the different things that Florida State can do offensively, and it's the little things that Nebraska can't do. Look at that drive. Very impressive in the middle of a rainstorm.
Here's the guy set. High back runs it through and runs it in. That's Sean Jackson. Touchdown, Florida State. 10 yards. A tremendous drive that started in a pouring rain. Ended with the rain almost stopped. Play after play, they keep mixing the calls. A lot of power runs. 85 yards.
7 minutes and 48 seconds. 16 plays. And whatever the halftime speech was that Tom Osborne gave his team, they've forgotten it by now because Florida State's been on the field for so long.
Now Dan Mowry tries the point after, and he hits it. And with 4:52 to go in the third quarter, Florida State has moved to a commanding advantage, 27-7.
Don, when you watch this play, watch the way Jackson breaks away from the blocking. Nice move outside. And then when he gets his shoulders turned up, he's looking to take a prisoner here and there, and it happens to be Reese that gets in his way. Nice bull run by Jackson, who's had a very good game so far tonight.
Very consistent, and he protects the ball, which is not easy to do in this weather. Florida State builds on its lead, a 27 halftime advantage, now 27-7 after an extended 85-play drive, or 85-yard drive. There is the kickoff into the end zone by Dan Mowry. And Tyrone Hughes cannot bring it out. There's the man in the middle, number 35, Sean Jackson, who's outrushed the Nebraska team. The Cornhuskers of Nebraska looking for big play offense, ready to start a drive now at their 20-yard line after an 85-yard drive for a score by Florida State. One of the Huskers' best players, outside linebacker Travis Hill, a consensus All-American, going off the field with an apparent knee injury. So it doesn't look like Travis will be back on the field tonight. Great fake by Tommy Frazier, and he lets it rip long. Corey Dixon's going for it, and it's picked off. Down with the ball is Leon Fowler. He's knocked down to the 34-yard line. There's also a penalty marker down where Fowler made the interception. We'll see if there's any pass interference.
Actually, you know, Tommy Frazier went for the home run. Illegal block against Florida State. Attacked 15 yards on that. Frazier went all the way downfield. Hawkins, 38, was open about 15 yards deep.
He's got a live arm, though.
Yeah, here's the outside receiver. Zone coverage by Florida State. Corey Fuller up front. Leon Fowler in the back. Fowler with a fine catch.
Oh, I'll tell you.
For the interception.
Excellent play by Leon Fowler, who had some problems in the SEC against some of the opposition earlier this season. Getting beat deep.
You can see that Nebraska is certainly in a desperate situation to make things happen as quick as possible here. Throw the ball up. Try find one of your receivers, make a great play. And after Florida State's 7-minute and 48-second drive to score, Nebraska had the ball for a grand total of 14 seconds there, Don.
Let's go downstairs quickly to John Dockery. Doc?
Thank you, Crick. I'm underneath the stadium here trying to stay warm with Bob, who is the departing athletic director for Nebraska. 31 years, Bob, never a losing football season. Who are some of the players? What are some of the big games that you remember over those 31 years at Nebraska?
Well, Trev Alberts, the tackle for Nebraska.
Bob Brown, who were great football players, and Willie Ross, Rudy Johnson, Lloyd Boss, and Larry Kramer. A lot of guys who went on and played pro ball. And then in the last few years, we had guys like Johnny Rogers there that was a very, very outstanding player. And then during one period of time, they had Mike Rozier, Irving Fryer, some of those players. I remember those players. The game I remember most was the game we played Oklahoma when we were 1-2 in the country and played them in Norman, Oklahoma, and won the ball game 35-31.
Some great memories, some great moments. We thank you for it, and good luck in the future to you, Bob. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bob Devaney, a hallmark name in college football.
Penalties from the spot of the foul. We'll go half the distance to the goal line. Repeat, second down.
That completion to Mr. Hanover, Marek Hanover, an excellent throw by Charlie Ward, but the penalty negates it. Now Florida State backed up, got to protect the ball. The only way that Nebraska can get back in this football game is you watch the throw to Vanover just over the outstretched hands of the cornerback. They can't turn it over here, Don. They got to protect it.
Problems with the mics down in the field. This high-tech equipment does not respond well to rain, as you might imagine. There is a give to Tiger McMillan, and Nebraska's down linemen stay home and make the stop. David White making a lot of plays, number 96.
He's right over the center. Reads this. It's a draw trap, and he's right there to make the tackle on Tiger McMillan for little or no gain.
Let me get out in the field and see how it does out there, okay, Terry? It might have been just because.
On the scoreboard, they have it marked second down and 20 coming up. On the field, they have it third down and 20.
Got an injury here for Florida State's offensive line. Rob Stevenson coming up to the sideline being assisted by the trainers. Here comes the rain again, Don.
Yep. Big time. Coming in, it is exactly that, sheets of rain. Florida State, obviously a team that practices in a lot of rain, and North Florida and Tallahassee, various times during the year, seems to operate well in it. Nobody plays better in rain than the Miami Dolphins. Penalty markers go down at the snap of the ball with 2 minutes and 58 seconds to play in the third quarter. As on the field being attended to is tackle Robert Stevenson.
Yeah, he's looking at his shoulder as Florida State moves off the ball here. Stevenson having the doctor look at his right shoulder.
He has been a real standout at tackle. Not an especially big player, but tremendously quick. The penalty calls so far tonight. Florida State with more yardage assessed against them, but they've overcome it. Now from the end zone, ready to throw in the rain from his own end zone is Charlie Ward, but wait, he's on the run and he's in the open field. Guarded, moving ahead and getting across the 15-yard line, still way short of a first down. That was a 3rd and 24 play. He'll be about 13 yards short of the first down, so Florida State sends out its punter.
Don, that looked like a design play. Watch when he rolls. It looks like the offensive line are going to set up for a pass. There is pressure from the outside, but Ward so very gifted at running the ball away from pressure. He doesn't pick up the first down, but he certainly gives his punter an awful lot of room. A lot more comfortable for Mr. Wimberly.
Jan Wimberly ready to boom the ball. Big rush. Nebraska goes for the block. Almost got to it. Running with the ball now is Tyrone Hughes for the Cornhuskers, and he's down to the 47-yard line of Florida State. Sterling Palmer on the tackle, a 36-yard punt and a 6-yard return. Huskers to go on offense when we come back. 1:50 to go in the third quarter. Nebraska with the ball, trailing 27-7. First down and 10, play a power set, double tight ends, 3 backs. On near side, and Calvin Jones breaks it open down to the 40-yard line. A gain on the play of about 7 or 8 yards. Our thanks for tonight's overhead shots to Captain Maloney and the crew of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes from Pompano Beach, Florida.
You know, they give a Most Valuable Player award to a player, but the good captain up there deserves something for keeping that blimp up in this rainstorm and the camera still working.
Been no lightning. That might not be a great place to be when the lightning starts up.
I don't want to be up there in the rainstorm, Don.
Second down play. Florida State playing the run all the way. Hodrick McIntosh, the nose tackle, makes the stop. Guys starting up after the plays. There's another penalty marker down off the line of scrimmage, and it's going to apparently be against Nebraska. At least Florida State thinks so.
Yeah, it looked like an offensive lineman got a little
personal foul against Nebraska.
Yeah, it is. It's Wiegert, the offensive right tackle. He carried a block a little too far downfield on Ken Alexander and then took a punch at him. Normally they'll throw flags on that. Watch 72 down here in the bottom of the screen. If we can see the end of the play, he gets on Alexander. Now they're going to go out of frame. But they were pushing and shoving and punching. They get the Cornhusker.
Last meeting between these two teams was in 1990 in the Fiesta Bowl when Florida State won going away 41-17. And that game was keyed by turnover play. Nebraska turned the ball over 3 times in the first quarter. Coach Osborne saw his team fall behind because of it.
There's the push and shove by Wiegert on Alexander. That resulted in the penalty, negated the
capital offense.
No.
Replay.
Misdemeanor, but it's still 15 yards. Green.
Frazier swings it over to Calvin Jones, and he takes it up ahead. Here's another penalty marker down as Florida State had it defensed. Reggie Freeman may be called for defensive holding here.
Mark and Simpson on the tackle.
Are they going to call it on the offense? It was Reggie Freeman who was held apparently because he was protesting something to the official. Bill Gross from the SEC, our referee, and his mic is gone right now.
See if we can pick it up on the right-hand side of the screen. Yeah, there's the grab. It is on Reggie Freeman. He was the one who was held. You called it correctly, Mr. Cricky.
And it brings us down to 1 minute to play in the third quarter. Huskers, despite their 27-7 disadvantage, huddling at their leisure and getting ready to punt the ball back to Florida State. Mike Stiggy. They thought his kicking might be a factor in the outcome of tonight's game. The best net average punter in the NCAA Division I record this year. Hits it downfield, and Corey Sawyer lets it roll, and Florida State will take over the ball. 1st and 10 at the Seminoles' 21-yard line. Sunday, join us at 12 noon Eastern time as playoff football comes to NBC. Buffalo Bills have gone to the Super Bowl, as you know, the past 2 years. Each time they've come away with a loss. This season, the Bills let the AFC East title slip away in the last game of the season. Could it be that Buffalo is no longer the AFC power it's been for the past few years? Sunday, before the Bills battle the Oilers, tune into NFL Live as O.J. Simpson examines the Bills' predicament. Saw the latest news with Bob Costas, O.J. Simpson, Will McDonough, and special guest Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Boomer Esiason. It's all Sunday at noon at 12 o'clock Eastern Time, and then it's on to Rich Stadium for the rematch of last Sunday night's game, the Oilers and the Bills, this time with the winner advancing. Now on the run, Sean Jackson breaking it by the Nebraska defenders and running it all the way down to the 31-yard line.
Boy, surprise starter for Florida State. He's had a big game in bad weather situations. That's a 42-yard pickup. Excellent blocking up front. The offensive line from the two-point stance. Watch Floyd, 44. He hits Anderson, 48 on the outside. Nice move by Sean Jackson. Big pickup.
First down, Florida State.
Big block on the play by the tackle, John Flaw. 42-yarder gets the Seminoles in scoring position. It gets at least challenging to set up a score as Ward takes a deep drop in the rain. Penalty marker goes down, and Charlie Ward, pump faking, takes it on a run. It could be a holding call on Florida State.
It is against Florida State. You know, I don't want to digress, but you did that promo on NFL Live. You realize this weekend we have an Orenthal and a Norman on NFL Live. Orenthal James Simpson and Norman Julius Esiason talking about football.
Buffalo, despite its injury problems and despite the fact that Bills were manhandled on Sunday night at the Astrodome, Bills will take the field as a favorite. Here's the infraction now as Charlie Ward starts to scramble.
Ooh, gutting the legs. Gutting the legs. Not a good idea. That's flat again, number 68. I understand also in that Buffalo-Houston game that Cody Carlson will probably be the starting quarterback, and for sure it's going to be Frank Reich for Buffalo.
Jim Kelly is definitely out of that game, and this week Cody has taken more snaps than Warren Moon has in the practice sessions, although Moon has been practicing. He'll be in uniform and active. Tiger McMillan runs the ball, and that'll do it for 3/4 of play as Florida State builds on its halftime lead of 20-7 to where they've now extended it 27-7. Back after these words from your local stations. King Orange smiling in the rain here at the Federal Express Orange Bowl. Speed wins, and Nebraska cannot handle the team speed of Florida State. If there's even the slightest defensive mistake on offense, the Seminoles just beat it with blinding speed. They all can run.
And it appears when they're working, it looks so easy. I mean, their receivers wide open, Don. Blitz hit.
At times, the Huskers come with an outside blitz. Trev Alberts, number 34, came through.
That is the first sack of the day for Nebraska. One of the things that they wanted to do was to get on Charlie Ward. Alberts comes from the outside, beating the offensive tackle for a pretty easy sack.
Loss of 9 yards. Third and 64.
Long way to go now for Charlie Ward on the Seminoles offense, as it'll be 3rd down and 34. You got Tamarick Ben over at the top of your screen. This is a long ball offense all by himself out there.
Do we pencil in the reverse? Nope.
Pencil in Tiger McMillan. Back to Doc on the sidelines in the rain.
Perhaps you thought I left, Crick and Trump. I'm still here. Don't worry about it on the soggy sidelines. Couple of things. Travis Hill, knee injury, fairly serious. You will not see him back today for Nebraska. Also, if you take a look at the field, it actually has terrific drainage because it's prescription turf. It has pumps underneath the turf to get the water out of here, so the rain itself won't collect that much on the field. Still very soggy down here. Back to you guys in the dry booth.
A semi-dry booth here, Doc. We're not completely safe yet. Here's a kick downfield, and Corey Dixon, who caught the touchdown pass, runs the ball back across the 30 and gets to the 32-yard line. That's a very difficult development for that great young player for Nebraska. Their outside linebacker, Travis Hill, with the knee injury that John Docker was talking about. because he is projected as a high-round NFL draft choice, a consensus All-American.
Yeah, it does affect him big time because the NFL Combine is not too long from now, and the ACL, the anterior cruciate ligament, normally requires surgery. I certainly wish the best for Travis Hill. That is awful news.
First down, Nebraska. From their own 30.
Tommy Frazier and the Cornhuskers go 1st and 10 from their 30. And a quick hitter up the middle. Derek Brown runs the ball ahead for a gain of about 4 yards.
Trailing 27-7 in the 4th quarter. They get the ball and they run a lead play. There's Charlie Ward on the sideline, headset on. Well, it won't be long. Less than 20 hours, he'll be playing basketball. You don't have to worry about rain on the basketball court.
Mark Vanover's a good basketball player. Also, they had the team agility drills. He had a... If you look at Frazier throw the quick out and hit Vincent Hawkins. Mark Vanover had a standing leap, vertical leap of 40 inches. Coach Bowden said to the coaches, next time he jumps, I want the door closed. I don't want to see Kennedy, the basketball coach, seeing this.
Well, again, I hate to repeat myself. It's a little bit different. 27-7, 4th quarter, and Nebraska runs a lead and then a quick out. This is just not a big play home run offense.
Straight ahead, they go to Calvin Jones. Nebraska's success in the recent years built on the power running game like the old Yankee teams, where they used to build up a 5 or 6 run lead in the 3rd innings and then start to pull away. These guys used to come out powering the ball, touchdown after touchdown.
Yeah, the Yankees used to survive on that a bloop, and a blast. Yeah, it'd add up in a hurry, wouldn't it?
That's Marvin Jones. Hey, y'all
Black Thunder. Marvin Jones. Spoken word there on the sideline to be heard as he again goes to Calvin Jones for Nebraska, and he dives across the 45-yard line.
Calvin Jones, the ball carrier.
I don't know what to say about these Big 8 teams that come down here. You know, when they come down here and when Nebraska's been good, man, they're awful good, and they can overpower football teams. But look at here, the 2.9-yard average. Each one of these running backs has rushed for 1,000 yards. Jones 7-2 a carry, Brown 6 yards a carry, but they come down in this Orange Bowl and it just doesn't work.
Right, not even a little bit. It was close for a while. And now as Frazier takes a deep look, he's going to be on the run. He'll beat the linebacker, head for the sideline, and get out of bounds inside the 40. Corey Sawyer, number 8, came up and stuck him. Sawyer, the lightest player on the defense of the Seminoles, but a terrific player. 16-yard gain on the run by Frazier.
Good choice here by Frazier. Yeah, it's a play-action fake, slight little roll, and he sees nobody open, and he does have good running skills. All Nebraska running backs through the years, I should say quarterbacks through the years, have had good running skills.
I asked Corey at 160 pounds, and he's noted for playing the run and coming up and really with run support, hitting hard. I said, you ever get hurt feeling? He said, not yet.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Downfield throw, and Dixon has the ball and goes to the 1-yard line. Frazier's made some brilliant throws. That was one of them, a 37-yarder down to the 1-yard line.
Leon Fowler was the man in coverage. Again, a little play-action fake. See right at the top of the screen, boy, Dixon goes right by Fowler. If he catches it cleanly, he scores, but he has to catch it on the rebound. Fowler able to catch up, and it's 1st and goal for Nebraska.
Okay, Dixon's having a career here for Nebraska this season.
He's going to catch 5 balls in a year, or in 4 years at Nebraska.
Great play. End zone touchdown. And it's taken in by Gerald Armstrong. Most of the ones he catches are for touchdown. That is his 9th reception of the year. 8 have been for touchdowns.
Well, the tight ends for Nebraska catch touchdown passes. Of the 16 that have been caught by Nebraska tight ends, now 10 Of the 16 receptions by Nebraska, 10 by tight ends for scores. And he just releases off the line of scrimmage. They drop him. 7 plays, 70 yards. 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Nebraska in the end zone. Whoa.
Point after is hit up and good, and the Huskers now have 14 and are 2 touchdowns away. They'll be kicking off in a moment.
The Federal Express Orange Bowl is brought to you by Federal Express. For documents, packages, and freight worldwide, our most important package is yours. By Hertz, the people's choice in rent-a-car for 75 years. By Intel, the computer inside. And by Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right.
Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy and John Dockery back at the 59th Federal Express Orange Bowl. Nebraska hits the touchdown throw from a yard out, and now the Huskers kick off, trailing 27-14 to Florida State. A bobbled ball. This is a man dangerous anytime he hits in his hands, though. Tamarick Vanover. And the Huskers sweep down on special teams and take under Tamarick Vanover, so Florida State will start inside its 10-yard line.
We go back to the touchdown by Gerald Armstrong. He's right here. There's a move that defensive linemen use in pass rush called a swim move. Watch the way Armstrong swims over that defensive lineman. Frazier finds him in the end zone, lobs it there, he catches it.
His 9th catch of the year, his 8th for a touchdown.
I like that percentage.
Coming back. We're not giving up. Yo, BP, what's up? You and me?
Tight ends are always open, aren't they? Always open.
Well, the Florida State coach was saying you can read what their offense is going to do. Instead, if their tight end releases and runs a pattern, it's definitely a pass. Most of the time, they never come off the line of scrimmage. They're in there like another tackle.
Yeah, they've got another tight end on that Nebraska offense at 265 pounds. You can see the soggy conditions, and Florida State again starting out very conservative. Jackson, who has been a big part of the offense here in the second half.
This one has a long way to go. 9 minutes and 43 seconds to play. Rain has almost stopped now as Charlie Ward drops to the end zone again with that step forward, and look at the throw. They were running that all week in practice, those sideline curl patterns where oftentimes the ball is delivered before the break of the receiver. That's their pattern. 13-yard gain.
McCorvey on the catch. You see the inside release. He convinces Wilhite, the defensive back 19. He's going deep. Perfect timing. Well, that's almost indefensible. Beautifully run. You don't see a lot of colleges who are that sophisticated at running patterns and the timing of the pass. And immediately they go to the shotgun. They get a little room behind them. Back to the shotgun.
Ward fires and makes a connection. Tamarick Vanover has the ball on a 1st and 10 play out to the 30-yard line. Vanover, oddly enough, a great receiver, was a high school All-American as a running back and as a defensive back.
Yeah.
He wasn't a receiver.
No. And they don't know all that this kid can do. Again, the inside release, he just finds the spot inside the linebacker, underneath Reese, the cornerback. Easy completion.
Vanover, you see his numbers. He's so good. He's so gifted that sometimes, and he'll be the first to admit it, he doesn't work as hard as he might in practice, and the coaches really jump on him. He's got a terrific attitude. He responds to it and starts to go hard, but he's just so gifted that it's almost like men against boys.
Always intended for Kevin Knox. Yeah, as a matter of fact, when the season started, he was upset. He'd never been on the bench. Coach said, son, you got to work hard here. There are some good athletes out here. We realize you're one of the best, but you got to show the coaches that you're willing to go through the effort. He put forth the effort, and the results have been remarkable. I mean, this guy's had 8 kickoff returns for a 51-yard average. He didn't have enough in the ACC to qualify. He would have won it by almost 25 yards of return.
The reason he didn't have enough, Florida State doesn't give up a lot of touchdowns, and it's true too.
That's true too.
Anybody that leads the nation in kickoff returns is playing through a disaster. Things are not going well when you get a lot of kickoffs.
Not going well. You are right. That's that 265-pound tight end I was talking about that Nebraska has on their program. William Washington, one of the tri-captains for Nebraska an extra tackle.
Now on first down and 10, Charlie Ward sets up in the shotgun offense. Here comes the rush. Charlie again steps up. Ball on the field. Vanover falls on it at the 33. Seminoles keep the ball.
Well, we've documented throughout the game the use of the spy against Charlie Ward. Here's David White, 96. He's coming on the blitz. Picked up nicely by Sean Jackson, 35. Fumble. Vanover there to pick it up. The ball has bounced Florida State's way all night.
Well, as Osborne said at halftime, we're not going to stop playing hard, and they haven't done that. Down 27-14 with 7:40 to play. Not much there. Nebraska's big D linemen stay there. John Perella with another big play. He has evolved through hard work into one of the better defensive linemen in college football. He was first advised to go to junior college.
They run the screen here to Jackson. Perella's right there to make the stop. Almost pulls his uniform off of him, but does get him down. Big, strong kid, this Perella.
Now on third down and 10, a ball in the air, and the screen pass works. In the open field is Sean Jackson. Finally, no, they do not get him. Now they do, but it's all the way down to the 37-yard line of Nebraska. Third and 10, and Bobby Bowden calls the right numbers. A 32-yard gain on a screen play to Jackson.
On the Nebraska defense runs a lot of stunts, and you see the stunts here. Everybody trying to put pressure on Ward. The net result is once they get by the line of scrimmage, watch how open this is. Actually, there should have been a flag there. There was a receiver that blocked downfield illegally while that ball was in the air, but it results in a big gain and a first down again for Florida State.
Omar Ellison into the game quickly as an extra wide receiver. And now Florida State, realizing they were going to run out of time, calls a timeout.
Not quit. Not quit. I'm not quit.
Here on NBC, right now at the Federal Express Orange Bowl with 6:25 to play in the game. It's 27-14. Florida State in the lead and with the ball. Let's go back down to Doc on the sideline.
Hey, Crick, what would you do on a rainy, miserable night? You might do a little baking for yourself. Let's see what we have cooking in here. Oh, yeah. A little ball. Yeah, it takes about 2 minutes. It's a ball warmer on the sidelines behind the Florida State bench. So they do get dry balls in there. As a matter of fact, it feels nice and warm and toasty, though. I don't think it's quite done yet. I'll put it back in for a little longer, all right? Come back if you want to know more about it.
How about that guy you're with? Is he a specialist in that? He looked pretty serious about it.
I noticed there was an out bin there. You mean there's an in bin? Can you put a football in the wrong end of that machine?
Running play. Tyrone Bird comes up and makes the stop on Tiger McMillan.
Yeah, you hate to speak poorly of Nebraska's football program, but Tom Osborne and his football team about to go down to their 6th straight bowl loss, and tempers flaring. A little frustration on the part of Nebraska. This is one of the most honorable gentlemen you'll find in this country.
It's not hard to root for both of these coaches.
I agree
You find two fine individuals on the sidelines, and Coach Bowden and Coach Osborne. Here's a big stick put on. Dante Jones comes in, and with a full load of steam levels quarterback Charlie Ward of Florida State. Osborne in his 20th season, we pointed out earlier, has an 81% winning percentage, the best of any active coach, but not in bowl games.
Charlie Ward doesn't even see this guy. Dante Jones just hits him from the absolute blind side. Ward does get up, walks to the sideline. He appears to be okay. Pat Kennedy, don't worry about it. He's fine. He'll be your point guard. Just give him 24 hours.
This is Osborne's 20th year as head coach of Nebraska. He's won or shared in 9 Big 8 titles.
But, you know, in a conversation we had with him, he said, you know, the Big 8 is changing. Colorado throws the ball 50 times a game. With the Gundy kid at Oklahoma, they throw the ball 35 or 40 times a game. Gone are the days of the the wishbone at Oklahoma, and Barry Sanders and Thurman Thomas running it at Oklahoma State, that we've turned into a passing conference.
And there's clubs coming up, and it's certainly Kansas under Glenn Mason has come up with a big season, winner of the Aloha Bowl. Here's a kick downfield, and on the run with the ball is Tyrone Hughes, and a lot of Seminoles are there to take him down at the 20.
Let's not lose our cool here, gentlemen.
4:43 to play in the game. And we'll be back to the Federal Express Orange Bowl in a moment. Charlie Ward's now going to announce the game. Oh, actually, that's talking to the coaches.
Maybe he's talking to Dad.
Headset there.
Yeah.
Frazier in trouble. Lets it go deep. Closing on the ball is cornerback Clifton Abraham. And the man they call Little Buddy, shortest player on the Florida State team, makes a big play.
Well, there was great pressure on Frazier. He couldn't really follow through, so he couldn't really get it all the way. A little roll. I see some substitutes in there for the Florida State defense. 58 Footman, the guy whose nickname is Bigfoot, just gets in Frazier's face, and up. Watch Bigfoot, 58. That'll keep you from following through. That's why the ball was short, and therefore the interception by Clifton Abraham.
He was saying to us, probably, this might be the best set of cornerbacks he's ever had. I mean, you were most astounded by that when you consider people like Buckley and Deion Sanders.
Yeah, there's others, too. Bobby Butler was an awful good cornerback for the Florida State Seminoles. They've had a history of great cornerbacks. Of course, these two cornerbacks for Florida State, Terrell Buckley is a guy that both of them talk to a lot. He helps them. They love man-to-man. They love bump and run. They love making the big play.
Well, before the game, talking to some of their offensive coaches, they were really going to test Nebraska deep because he said their corners almost want a trail coverage pattern. They almost look like they're going to step out and then follow you fast. They thought they could beat him deep for that coverage.
Oh, nice play-action coach.
Charlie Ward takes it inside the 45-yard line. When Ward first started at quarterback, they tried to get him to take the crossover pass drops, and he didn't feel he could see the field well enough, and then they realized, being a point guard in basketball, he likes to face the whole floor and see everything. So once he went to the shotgun, or the fast break offense, as they call it, Charlie Ward was like he was back on the hardwood, seeing everything and delivering the ball all over.
Now, speaking of hardwood, too, look at the numbers there for basketball. Last year, Florida State played and beat North Carolina. And Dean Smith, after the game, Ward had a particularly good game. And Dean Smith walked up and said, "Son, stay with basketball."
Gives off now, running ahead of Sean Jackson. He's down inside the 35-yard line for a first down. He loves challenges, Charlie Ward. He's looking forward, he said, to January 24th, where he'll go head-to-head with Bobby Hurd. Said he's the best point guard. That's what I want to play against.
This is the lead offense. Jackson now on the day, 14th carry there, 102 yards and a touchdown. So they've gotten a lot of offense out of a lot of different people. Vanover's had a big night, over close to 100 yards of total offense, 102 yards rushing there.
A first down call. Pitch back. Fake to reverse. Jackson still has it. Nebraska's not biting. They stay home and make the stop for a loss. Game clock down to 2:20 to play.
Tackles to Reese and Alberts.
Interesting that apparently in bowl games, Sean Jackson is a big game player. Last year in the Cotton Bowl against Texas A&M, he had over 100 yards rushing too. So Bobby Bowden knows what he's doing, and Jackson has been tough. Tiger McMillan is the guy that we thought was going to start. Last moment, Jackson inserted into the lineup. He has responded.
Hurt his knee in the Georgia Tech game. Missed 3 games for the Noles. Sean Jackson obviously back in great health tonight. As the handoff again goes to Jackson. Shooting it back is your spy man, Trump, David White.
He's been busy tonight, but they actually needed about 3 of him. You can't use one spy on Charlie Ward.
That's about right. You need one, either side and one in the middle of the field.
One man just can't do the job.
Loss of 4 on the play.
I would think that Charlie Ward is the leading candidate to win the next Heisman Trophy. We're back at the Federal Express Orange Bowl. 1:42 to play in the game. Florida State in command throughout, had a 20-7 halftime lead. And it now stands at 27-14 as Florida State will again finish with just one loss. A field goal margin was the difference when the Noles played the Hurricanes of Miami. Coach Bowden, it's one of these years it has to happen where he makes the breakthrough season and wins a national championship.
Well, the score in the Sugar Bowl remains as it sits now. It looks like Florida State will be number 2 behind Alabama, right?
Now let's take a look at the Federal Express Orange Bowl most valuable players. Charlie Ward is the man who gets the award. The man who really figures in about 80% of the Florida State offense.
Yeah, what's not there, of course, is the yards he's run tonight. He is in total control of this offense. You're right, Don. And they got him for another year. And for Nebraska, Corey Dixon, 5 catches, 123 yards, and a touchdown.
And now, while we have a moment, let's go back to New York. Jim?
All right, thanks a lot, Don. We've been telling you all day about the resignation of Coach Larry Smith at the University of Southern California. Within the past 2 hours, Smith spoke to reporters overwhelmingly emotionally, as it turned out. Here now is a brief excerpt from that news conference.
Well, I've always preached to my players that you never quit, and I want to make sure that that comes across, that I didn't quit.
So call it the forced resignation of Larry Smith. Obviously, it was not his idea to leave the coaching job behind. And sources tell me tonight SC hopes to hire a football coach within the next few days. Don Criqui.
Thank you, Jim. And deference to Larry Smith. He's been a great winner, Trump, in a lot of games. He's won a lot of big games. It was a tough year. The lack of success against Notre Dame and certainly against Fresno State in the bowl game. But this guy's been a terrific football coach for 25 years.
Don, there are programs around, and coaches created those programs where there's a limit to how much you can lose. I mean, there's just no way around it.
Huskers will be firing here with 1:20 to go, down by 13 points. Tommy Frazier, the freshman quarterback, takes the drop, and now on the rollout, looking to unload. He does. It's incomplete. And while we have a moment, we tell you that the executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. Today's game was produced by Terry Ewert, directed by John Gonzalez. Bowl Day 93 was produced by John McGinnis, directed by Kelly Atkinson. Associate directors Doug Grabert, Mary Buda Lamusio, Bruce Clark, and Dave Katz. Production associates Molly Solomon, Billy Matthews, Steve Harizmiak, Francine Winokur, and Sam Flood. Technical manager Art Parker. Production managers Ken Goss, Susan Ashton, Rodney Green. Technical directors Mitch Geller and Richard Sansevier. We thank them all, and also our NBC statistician Ross Schneiderman. As the Huskers go to the run with 1:06 to play. Certainly thanks to the Orange Bowl Committee headed by President R. Ray Good and President-elect Robert Epling and Executive Director Steve Hatchell.
Don, as this game winds down, if there's a stat that tells Nebraska's problems coming into this game, they averaged 328 yards rushing. Tonight, 132.
That is an overwhelming stat. The strength of Nebraska was taken away by the Florida State defense. Down to 50 seconds to play. And the bowl game losing streak now amounts to 6 in a row for Coach Osborne. A sack, a final ignominy for Nebraska. Reggie Freeman, who plans to play in the NFL and then go to the FBI. This guy does tremendous good work up in the Tallahassee area, working with disadvantaged kids. He's a real standout off the field. Reggie Freeman playing with a bad knee, but still getting the job done. They were going to hold him out. He wouldn't hear it, but here he comes again. A long ball downfield. Incomplete with 2 seconds to play. We'd also like to thank from Florida State their president, Dr. Dale Lick, and A.D. Bob Coyne, Sports Information Director Wayne Hogan and Donna Turner. Our spotter for the Seminoles, Joey Ferralito. And for University of Nebraska, Chancellor Graham Spanier, A.D. Bob Devaney, Associate SID Chris Anderson, and spotter Steve Hill. One final play. And we'll be going right to New York as the ball is given up the middle, and that will do it. Florida State wins again. The Federal Express Orange Ball goes to the Seminoles. 27-14. Now for John Dockery and Bob Trumpy, this is Don Cricky. We send you now to Jim Lampley in New York.